We're live. Sorry. Now we're live? That was operator error. Go ahead, man. coming at you live from Nashville, Tennessee. East Nashville, Tennessee, as our friend Guthrie Trapp likes to always denote.
Oh,
yes. And he also likes to always notice that drummers don't just play drums. They also play cymbals, drums and cymbals.
Oh, cymbals aren't drums.
They're not.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
Yeah. He's very specific, that guy.
That's correct. Well, anyway, thanks for joining us, everybody. We are here live. We're at H.O.M.E Studios in East Nashville. We got, as always, my good buddy Sean Tubbs playing this beautiful R9. And we've got our new friend, Justin Ostrander, who is a recent addition to the Rev artist roster, and also just an all-around amazing local session player who's played with a laundry list of folks that we can get it further into as we hear a little bit more about Justin's story. But thanks for being with us today.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks again for being here, everybody. Make sure you smash that like button, share this live stream with your friends. This is how we get the word out about the Gear and Beer live stream, and it's really great to have everybody with us. Gear and Beer. That's right.
I didn't even know what this is called. Okay. Well, yeah. Thank you for the great beer.
Absolutely. So, what are you drinking there, Justin?
Southern Grist Teal. It's a hazy IPA.
Southern Grist Teal. That's a local brewery. They're here in town. Actually, I'm going to go ahead. While I'm doing this, you guys please comment. Tell us, what are you drinking tonight for Gear and Beer?
Yeah, you're gonna have to lean in.
I can't read it either. I'm reading it from my phone.
Oh, okay.
In the spirit of our good friend Uncle Larry, we're going to be cracking a Rolling Rock. I bought these because you couldn't find these for the longest time around. They were out during the pandemic, so
back order.
They were back ordered.
Rolling Rock,
Rolling Rock of all things, from Latrobe, Pennsylvania. But anyway, I saw a case of the bottles, had to buy it, and I did. We got Robbie Timms drinking a Heineken as always. I mean, can't go wrong. Quincy's another green bottle, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Quincy's drinking a West Vleteren, Belgium. Wow, that sounds awesome.
He sounds like he makes a lot of money.
Yeah.
Quincy.
Yeah. Quincy, please let us know your annual salary in the comments, please.
Can I afford that beer? That's what I want to know.
That's what we're getting at. Stefan Shreds a Bit, great name. Tequila. Okay, well, little off-brand with the. But that's okay.
Silver tequila, anejo.
Oh yeah, we need to know. Sean needs to know. Are we drinking añejo, reposado,
Casamigos,
Blanco?
organic?
Yeah, we're working on it. Can we hear it? Is it back? Lost audio.
Have you unplugged it and plugged it back in?
That's what I just did.
Are you seeing? You're seeing it to the.
Check. Are you guys hearing us now? Hey, back. We're back in business.
Hey-oh!
What do we
Awesome.
miss?
We just had to turn it off and turn it back on. What did we miss while we were gone?
That's how you fix every card.
We missed a lot of people saying no audio,
That's
and also still no audio.
still yes. Still.
Yeah. Awesome.
Well, whatever we
Back,
said,
back,
it was
back.
amazing, and I forgot. So sorry.
Echo. Dennis Mraz says echo. David Oga says there we go. I'm going to proceed as if it's working fine. You guys let us know if there's any too much echo. It says
Turn up the delay.
turn up the delay. I'm going to turn the delay up
Too much echo.
or maybe off.
Too
There's
much
no,
echo.
There's no monitors in here. Like,
Yeah, it shouldn't be. You shouldn't be getting that, but
no.
still, is there still echo? Everybody, are you guys hearing echo?
Is it echo, or is he just hearing a lot of room because we're so far away from that?
He could be hearing that. How's that? Is that working? Oh, you know what? It's because I'm on my phone. That's why I'm an idiot.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, that shouldn't be though. I'm not like.
Are you? You're
Is your
not on
phone
this-
picking up the audio as
Yeah,
well?
I was going to say if your phone is on the stream, then.
I mean, I'm just watching it. You shouldn't normally be able to.
Oh no, that shouldn't.
Right?
No. Yeah, you'd have to be on the link.
Yeah. I hear no echo. Okay, so
Okay.
Robbie Timston hears no echo.
Sweet.
Just you, Dennis. Sorry. As you'll notice, there's conspicuously an empty chair here. We're still waiting for our friend Ford Thurston, who is just has been delayed by a few life issues, I guess, or life things that come up. But he is on his way with some awesome vintage guitars. But before we get into that, Justin, I just feel like there's a lot of folks who follow us and who have been fans of the Rev brand. Obviously, a lot of folks, especially from the early days of Rev, are going to be more into, more rock-oriented or maybe metal-oriented music. Rev has been known for being kind of a high-gain staple in some areas. But so my point is, some of these folks may not be aware of who you are.
Sure.
How dare they?
I'm barely aware of who I am.
But you came to my attention after I moved to town. Actually, before I moved to town, I've always been interested in the folks that play on records, and your name came up a lot with some of my favorite Nashville stuff. Started seeing your name appearing on stuff. Like I started noticing you about 10 years ago, but I'm sure you've been doing it longer.
Okay.
And so maybe we've got a bio of you that we've put out, but maybe kind of just take people through a quick run through, like maybe the Cliff Notes version of your career from moving to town and getting into sessions and playing live and all that stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I'm organizing this in my mind to make it fast. So I was a math teacher in Kansas until the age of 25. I taught at Kansas State University, and I had basically hung around K-State to see about a girl, and we ended up getting engaged. And at that point, I realized that I needed to try. I have to try, make the attempt, an honest effort at doing something I want to do. Because teaching math, it was like, I don't know, it was just soul draining. I actually really love math, and my brain works that way. But for some reason in our culture, it's really cool to suck at it. Like people high five each other over how bad they were. And it's like pulling teeth to just teach, And I'd been playing in bands and playing in the bar scene in Manhattan, Kansas, and Kansas City, and various places around the Midwest. And I actually had a couple little like rural Kansas studios that no one's ever heard of, that I would go work at. People would hire me. Like I was doing, I'd have like a session every 6 months, but I was doing that back there and wildly overplaying, not listening to anything else, being nervous that I'm not doing enough for what they're paying me for, not knowing how to listen, which I think is the absolute most important part of my job.
Absolutely.
So my wife and I moved out, the girl that I had to see about.
Mm-hmm.
I actually told her I have to try this. And I gave her an out. I'm like, I know you didn't sign up for this, She goes, well,
were you married at the time?
Well, we were about to be. Okay. When I made this decision. And
you were giving her the...
Yeah. And she was like, oh, you probably couldn't do that in Manhattan, Kansas. So would we have to move to Kansas City? And I'm like, Oh, honey. We got to go a lot farther than that. And I thought we'd go to LA, you know, because I grew up on Zeppelin and I had a Stevie Ray Vaughan phase like every person my age, you know. And I just didn't play country and I didn't know what Nashville was. I had no clue. And went out to LA, met a bunch of people and a bunch of musicians. And when I would connect with them, the first thing was like, yeah, man, yeah, I play. What do you got? You get a gig or something? Well, no, I'm kind of new. I just want to know how you make it work and what do you do? And I have 5 other jobs too was kind of the standard answer. And it was a different thing out there, all about the hustle. And the people that make it work are incredible, you know? Moving there, married, seemed a little strange, especially because my wife is prone to car sickness. It's like not where you want to be, you know. You're either doing 90 or you're at a dead stop on the. You call them the whatever number, like
405.
Yeah, not the highway.
Yeah.
Or it's going through the canyon like this.
Which is, it's always, just as a side note, it's always cute when I hear Nashville people complain about traffic.
That is adorable.
Because when you've lived on the 91 or the 405.
Yeah. You can see your exit. It's right there.
Yeah.
You can see the
It's going to take you an hour and a half.
45 minutes minimum. Yeah. So, man, I'm trying to keep this short.
Just tell it, man. We got 2 hours to burn.
Okay.
Ford
great.
isn't even here yet.
Great. All right. Well, I'll give him 5 minutes. At the end. Everybody mentioned Nashville that I met out there. And
Speaking of Ford, he's calling. I'm just going to go make sure he finds a place.
Cool.
Keep telling the story.
So,
So the Kansas City Cats or the LA Cats were mentioning Nashville.
LA. Everybody I met in LA was like, man, I'm thinking of going to Nashville.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh yeah.
I hear that I don't need to make $8,000 a month just to barely scrape by.
Yeah, to live in Compton.
Which I'm sure, which I'm sure it's much higher now. You know, that was 2005.
Sure.
So we came out to Nashville for a week after that. And it was like I could not get away from music. It was happening everywhere. There's writers' rounds, multiple writers' rounds. Everywhere you go. And there's MySpace was really big at the time. So I was scouring MySpace for profiles of people that looked like they were sidemen.
Sure.
You know, or had that in their bio or whatever. And then I would send a message, say, hey, I'm brand new. I would love to just connect, buy you lunch or coffee or breakfast. I'd just like to hear how it happened for you. I came here not knowing a single person. You know, I have no clue what's going on. Got no responses from guitar players. But some bass players and some drummers, you know, kind of took me up on the offer and were like, yeah, do this, don't do this, or whatever. And I thought you had to get a road gig. You have to get a road gig. You have to do your time on the road to be able to establish yourself to the point that you can set up a session career. And a session career was always the end goal. Like I was listening to the stuff that you played on and then searching your name for other records, you know, or like I'd see Mark Goldenberg on a Jackson Browne record and then other records. And I'd look for stuff he played on, all sorts of, you know, Mike Landau, the obvious guys too, you know, but just seeing names show up on multiple CD booklets kind of showed me that there's this hidden world where people can make a living just making records and they don't have to travel. They don't have to try to be rock stars.
Yeah.
You know, they don't have to be in the band with the whole, like the dynamic of all the egos and everything. Just hang back, man. Make people sound as good as they can. Make their songs stand on their own.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and so that's what.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. It's there's so much to. Hey, Ford. Sorry, guys. But yeah, there's so much to it, you know. But you did everything right. Everything you did was the right thing to do because, I mean, the one thing everybody learns is the touring guitar player is not going to be a session player, and the session guitar player is not going to. Those two ships will not run in parallel. They will cross in the night, and that's it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like you kind of figured out on your own that, hey, you can and it can work to start as a touring guy, but you have to step completely out of it. And there's
Oh,
cats
yeah.
like Derek Wells
Sure.
stepped out of it.
Yeah.
You know, there's cats where it's like, okay, then you have to make a decision. Sometimes the touring thing is you're in. That's how you meet people. That's how you
Yeah.
you know, network. But at the end of the day, you did exactly what I would tell anybody to do. It's call people, make connections, hang out.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's a bass player, drummer, could be a fiddle player. If it's a guitar player, great. But you know, you did all the right stuff.
Well, I ended up getting on the road and played for about 7 years with various country artists. My first gig, pardon me, the old Southern Grist coming back. My first gig was Terry Clark,
Sure.
who was real big in the
remember that,
90s.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I got to learn all these great guitar parts. Brent Mason played all over it,
Yes.
but man, Stuart Smith played a lot.
Stu is insane, right?
Dude, he's one of my absolute favorites. And then Kenny Greenberg, and
Of course.
I remember being in rehearsal, my first rehearsal for like my first country gig, and we take a break after this song. I don't remember what song it was, but there was a big telly solo in it, and you know, I played a solo, and I felt really good about it. And then we all come down off the stage, we're getting waters, and you know, there's like a table of snacks because it was an all-day rehearsal.
Yeah.
And the band leader, the pedal steel player, he comes over to me and he goes, "Man, you sound really great." I'm like, "Dude, thank you. Thanks. I'm really happy to be here. I'm feeling good." And he goes, "You're going to get that solo, right?" And I'm like,
Come again?
"Yeah. What do you mean? What was wrong with did I didn't make any mistakes. What are you talking about? You know?" He's like, "No, you're going to get the solo off the record, right?" And I'm thinking, "No, I don't want to. That's cool, but why would you? Why do I don't want to. Really?" Yeah. But all I said was, "Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. I've had other gigs." And so I went home and I, you know, listen to it, back it up, listen to it, back it up, get it down. I was so cheap. I wouldn't pay for the Slow Downer program. Remember the Amazing Slow Downer? It was $45.
Oh, yeah.
It would play
the Amazing Lifesaver.
Yeah. It would play the free version. How are you doing, buddy?
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you.
Sorry I'm late.
So the free version of the Slow Downer would play the first 25% of any MP3 file. So I would take the song, dump it into Audacity, an open source recording software.
Yeah.
I would cut the solo out, and then if it's 30 seconds,
Yeah.
I would record an extra minute and a half on the end of it, so I didn't have to pay the $45.
We're all the same people. We all do the same thing. Now they have it on YouTube for free.
Oh yeah. Somebody plays it and slows it down 10 BPM, and then again.
Yeah.
But you know, I did the crash course, and when I was out on the road, I bounced around between different gigs, and I landed on this gig with an artist named David Nail.
Oh, yeah.
One of the best singers I've ever worked with in my life.
Yeah.
Super soulful. He never had an off night. He would, forgive me, David, he would drink himself into oblivion sometimes. Like,
Still kill it.
yeah, and just he'd walk out to sound check the next day, like looking like a vampire in the sun, you know?
Yeah.
He'd come up to the mic, and we're all kind of like, is it going to be today?
How long ago was that gig?
Oh, dude, I got it in 2010, and I stepped down in 2013.
So did you ever cross paths with, was Hubert Payne playing with you during that at all?
No, he came after me.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah. But he would open his mouth, and it would sound like the record every time. Whether he hung out real late and drank a lot the night before or not, didn't matter.
He's like a Billy Carrington kind of guy, that real just steady, solid vocal.
Super soulful.
Yeah, right.
And perfect.
Yeah.
I remember our pedal steel player left after a year of me. Billy stole it.
Really?
Yeah, Billy Carrington stole it.
I know the guy you're fucking talking about.
Abe
He's my friend.
Solwasa.
Yes, he's badass.
So great.
I'm swearing
I made
on
the
your
mistake.
channel.
I can totally swear. No
Sorry.
problem.
I made the mistake at the time of saying, "Oh, we don't. I can learn some of those parts."
Yeah.
I didn't play slide at all, you know, and I would work on it all the time. It was this crash course in slide guitar, and I remember practicing some of the parts during sound check, waiting on things or whatever. And David would go flat,
Slide, man.
sharp, you know, and I'm like, "Damn it, you're right.
I'm doing
Oh
my
God."
best.
Yeah, and you know.
You need a doubler for that.
No, it's just a vibrato. You know, it's in there somewhere, man. I'm going like 3 frets.
Yeah.
But I stepped down, and my last year of the gig, we had a number one. David had a number one, so we had like 120 shows, and I packed as much money away as I could. I converted my standalone one-car garage in the backyard into a studio. Like I did non-parallel walls and double drywall and green glue and rock wool, and had a block mason brick up the, like I could have a 100-watt Marshall on 10, and you could maybe hear it if you were in my driveway in the back. Yeah, I really wanted to be able to not bother anybody and to just experiment.
Except your wife.
Well, yeah. She was in the house. She was,
There you go. Right.
Yeah. It was a bother that I was back
Can't
there
give it to the vibration of 100.
Yeah.
It shakes everything.
Yeah.
So, and I just told everybody I do sessions now, and I would have like maybe one a month or something. But there were some people that I was out on the road with who were trying to get off the road at the same time I was, but with a different angle. They wanted a pub deal. They wanted to make a record with a producer and pitch themselves. And it was actually some of those people that first started calling me for stuff, because we'd been out on the same festivals. Like there's 12 bands. And for whatever reason, David's band had a reputation as like the band you want to watch, because he let us play whatever we wanted.
Oh, hallelujah.
Yeah, we weren't like married to
Those
all
set
the
solos
parts.
and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and like on the hits, like I have to play the intro
Signature
part.
lines,
Yeah, certain things, but man, he needed inspiration and needed us to go off, and gave us extended time.
I'm gonna hug this guy.
Yeah.
Speaking my language, man.
Yeah.
Playing set solos like you were talking about before. To me, when you're live, I never in my life have I ever got stage fright or any of that stuff.
Sure.
I always be like, whatever. But then I realized most of the time, because it was R&B setting or blues or your own music, that I never really had played with many artists outside of myself. And when they want record solos, that's where anxiety comes from, because you're like, oh. Yeah. And then when you get with a guy that doesn't want that, you're like, oh, this is so great. Yeah. Now I can really don't have any of that, playing, especially like you're talking about, you're covering, and on top of it, you're covering, was it Brent Mason's solo? You said that.
Oh, well, he didn't play on any of David's records.
No, I'm talking about
yeah, with Terry Clark,
yes.
And then with a bunch of other,
Terry Clark.
I played with Sarah Evans for a while, and Joe Nichols, and so there was JT's stuff.
Mm-hmm. Beast. Boy, bless him.
Yeah.
There was Brent Rowan, a lot of Joe Nichols stuff, and like that's what you're expected to do, and I'm not complaining about it. I was telling the story with Terry because that was just me not having any clue what I was supposed to do. But then with David, I think the reason people sort of leaned in a little more, and other musicians would sit on road cases backstage, is because with that band, you never knew what was going to happen.
Next, yeah.
We didn't know what was going to happen. And sometimes, afterwards, David would be like, man, I like what you did last week before, on a certain spot or whatever. Or his favorite thing was like, Ostrander, that fired me up. And so we'd listen back to the show. Okay, that part, all right, I'm going to work that in. And that'll be a thing for a while until we get sick of it,
You find counter melody points that sometimes will be so good that you'll remember them.
Yeah.
And you'll think, man, if this would have been a band with budget back in the 70s, we would flush these tunes out like we're doing right now. We'd have had songs, counter melodies like on the song Something from the Beatles or Pink Floyd, solos like that, because you had the time to sit and come up with this stuff rather than you get 3 takes, we'll edit it, and here's your solo.
Yeah. Well, those opportunities are rare, especially live when you're working for an artist. But even with Carrie, the most magical moments were actually acoustic when it was the acoustic band. Then it was like, okay, this is kind of a long solo. So I would look at Jimmy and say, without talking about it beforehand at all, it's live, literally while the song is happening live.
Yeah.
I'd look at him and say, you take the first half.
Right.
So he would just do it. He'd take the first half, so I'd take the second half, and Carrie loved all of it. But those were like the magical moments, because it's like, it's like now we're just actually expressing ourselves.
Right.
It's like, this is what I feel right now.
You're really having a conversation.
Yeah. It's like, man, I'm looking at him going, go, go, go. And he's like, me? And I'm like, yeah, just go.
Yeah.
And he would nail it. And then I'd be like, go get half, go half. And then I would go ahead and jump in, and it would just be magical. But I'm not disparaging the fact of, you have to stay in your lane when you're representing an artist, but when the opportunity arises, it's awesome.
Sure.
And then for you to be, present enough to go, okay, he said that was great.
Oh, yeah.
I want to go find
File
what
away.
that was.
I have
file
seen
it.
him. He was amazing.
It's
Oh,
really
dude.
smart.
Dude.
It's great. Yeah.
Woo!
But that's a really, it's a really
Beast.
smart way to do it.
Yeah, but
My buddy Peter's on that gig right now. He
he's
speaks
California.
very
Peter,
Ferguson.
Okay.
Yeah, and keys.
guitar and keys.
Yeah,
Yeah, we've done something together. I like him.
he's great.
He's cool.
Yeah.
He's a buddy of yours.
Yeah.
So I can't tell you what. I'm just kidding.
Well, you can tell me off air. You can tell me.
No, he's
You can tell me the
fantastic.
real. He's great.
Fantastic.
he's not watching.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like. I was late, but I feel like I walked in on my own thoughts, because these are the things that you think about living in Nashville. Like I think about, like, if I'm doing something for somebody, and nothing's worse than when you are. I am nowhere near in the territory of session guy that you are. I would call myself the C+ session guy. You never see me, but I'm doing lots of work. I get most of my session work out of town.
You never see me. Plus,
I'm the ghost.
you never hear me. C+.
I'm the ghost.
guy.
The C+.
But no. But the weird thing is when you have a guy that's like Eddie Money and he's humming you what he wants his solo to be, and you're like, dude, listen, if you just leave, I'll tell you what, go on your watch, give me 10 minutes. If you leave, you're gonna have a record solo, or you can have something. You're probably humming me something. You don't even realize that that's not something a guitar player would even play.
Yeah.
That might be more of a horn solo.
Yeah.
You can't tell singers this stuff because they don't even understand what you're
Yeah.
talking about. But it's happened for a while. I say, please leave, and they come back and they go, oh, I didn't realize. You can make something that sings and it's melodic, and it's not just a moment for no reason in the song. And I find that sometimes, not master sessions, but demo sessions, you're going to go in, they're going to give you a couple passes, and it's just going to be the related minor thing with a little thing in here, blah, blah, blah. And to me, it's like, if you just take the time, you could have something that people could whistle, or that you'd want to learn yourself as a fan of that artist or whatever, So you guys talking about that, it's been on my mind, weighing on my mind a lot. And as far as playing with other artists live, like people that want every single thing note for note, even songs that aren't even released that they give you. Just here's my new song, and be like, well, why am I playing this slow? Nobody knows it, and they don't even know that the guy that did the demo for it did it in his third pass, and it's maybe not the best part for the song.
Yeah.
That kind of shit is on my mind a lot, and it's really tough to chew on.
Well, I mean,
sometimes,
it's a happy medium, because there's a part of me on a session that loves the fact that the songwriter is singing an idea to me. Because sometimes I got nothing, and it's
Right.
like, man, they just sang the start to my solo.
I got you.
I hadn't thought of that, and sometimes, like you said, that's not in a guitar vocabulary,
Right.
but sometimes it is.
Right.
So it's one of those things where you have to. It's always a balance of, okay, that's not a fit. That's not going to work for guitar. So how do I articulate to them without being rude that I that's not going to fit within the parameters of guitar.
Right.
Skip
But
that
then-
step.
Yeah, but then there's been other times where it's like, good God, thank you.
I think a
You
zombie
gave me
can
the
whistle you
first three
something and you
notes
make
to
sense
a
of
great
it.
solo. You know? Well, because I mean, I've been on even bluegrass sessions, and I'm not a bluegrasser. And thank God somebody actually,
Led you.
a fiddle player or the guy playing banjo was like, hey, just start it. What about this bookend, and then you do the other bookend.
Wow.
And it wakes me up, and I'm like, oh, okay. Otherwise, I'm just like,
Yeah, I don't want to sound like I'm not saying that people haven't done that for me, and I've been appreciative too.
no, I'm not trying to say that either. I know exactly.
I
what
think
you
I'm
mean.
saying that sometimes somebody will be whistling you something, and you almost become tone deaf because the idea is so out there
It's so wrong.
that your brain can't even comprehend it because it's so wrong. That's what I'm.
It's like, you know what key this song's
Yeah,
in,
it's
right?
like, what are you talking about?
No.
Or
no,
the
I
whole
get it.
solo they'll be humming you will be like all root notes.
Yeah.
That's the big one for me. Like,
Well, then you
da,
just,
da, da, da,
but
da,
then you just
da.
bend into it. You're good.
That's what
That's what radio is, man.
That's what I was gonna say when you're saying like, how do I tell them that that's not really gonna, those never go over well. Any sort of like
But
when
that's how you tell them.
After
For me,
you get paid.
This is word for word. I always say that doesn't fit within the parameters of what a guitar player would do. So can we modify it? Let me show you, as a guitar player, when I hear that, this is what I would play.
Ooh,
And then what happens
Jedi.
is
Jedi.
it kind of wakes them up to a guitar player's mentality. And then at least there's no offense anymore. It's just Now it's just ideas bouncing back and forth until you find a happy medium.
I heard you whistling this thing earlier.
But that's the thing, because otherwise you're like, I'm a guitar player.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it's like, you can't say that. What you can say is, as a guitar player, what you just hummed to me, it really doesn't fit the parameters of guitar, but this is what I think could work based on what you just sang or hummed.
I guess what I'm saying is,
Or you just get fired off the session.
no, I'm.
Been there.
High five.
The guys in the middle.
This is such subjective.
Actually,
It's very,
Just kidding.
And it's very deep. But for me, when someone hums me something, there's a lot of things that go through my mind that I'm not gonna say it at all.
yes.
Okay, cool. Okay, hit 3, and I will guitarify what I
Their
think they're
ideas.
trying to
There you
do
go.
You dress it up.
without saying, "Here's why
Yeah.
what you're humming me is wrong."
Yeah.
You know?
You see that for your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
There's
Here's what you just hummed to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm going to try to make it do.
Right.
But what you hummed was,
Oh.
I'm going to try to go. Is that what that's the thing? It's like they don't realize that's not gonna,
Yeah. But it's
not gonna work.
It's such an easy way to a quick win, though. If you can get what they're saying and play it back to them.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
a lot of the people that I work for are
Smell
like
Sorry.
smelling R9s.
This is my old guitar.
Oh, okay.
I got this thing all done up
Yeah.
like this, and that's a real 50.
Still smell yourself on it?
Yeah, my right armpit always smells worse. This is a real 53.
That's the first thing I
Bad.
was thinking. It was
It's
like,
pretty good.
what are you smelling?
Bad.
I've been
That's a
playing
real
that thing for
53
like-
gold top tailpiece right there. I own the baddest ass 53 gold top, and I regularly, on the regular, hit the guy he fixes people's femurs. He's a doctor, and I'm always hitting him. I'm like, dude, you gotta get. Did you ever see that guitar that had all the green on it?
Yes. Oh yeah.
What was I thinking?
Oh
Sold it to a
no.
femurologist.
I suppose to a femur. But
Finger fixer.
femur fixer. Actually, the part of the deal was, I don't know if he's watching, but you did tell me that when you got the guitar at the H.O.M.E, I sold it to him in the lobby, that if I ever broke my leg, he'd hook me up. He wouldn't stand me up.
Maybe his name is Poo Ninja. You think that's his name?
No, I would never.
Okay.
Myself.
Maybe it's
Dr.
Femur
Poo
Ninja. All right. Well,
But no, that's the thing. It's like you
It's really
have
cool.
to.
Shaped. I had it reshaped, and the top. I had the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
we'll tell the full story of that guitar because that has a
Yeah.
very cool. That
been
guitar
around.
has a very cool story, and that was kind of one of the reasons. Like when we started talking about
Yeah.
doing this live stream, I was like, we were talking about you bringing some old guitars, and then the conversation about that guitar game was like, oh, that story needs to be told because I feel like we all know, at least I should say we all, Derek, and Sean all know little pieces of the story
Yeah.
of this guitar.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I think maybe tonight we'll get the
All right.
real.
Well, Tyler Chiarelli's in there.
Yeah.
Tyler, I mean, if he's out there, he's in
Jimmy.
Kansas.
Well, Jimmy was just here. Who was playing Jimmy Deegan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jimmy Deegan.
He was just here checking out amps,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. It's like, man, Nashville.
He knows the story of that guitar.
He knows the story of that guitar.
But I just want to like kind of tie up Justin's story
Yeah,
that he
sorry.
was telling because I just want people to get a sense of who's in the room right now because I think we take it for granted that we know what everybody's done and we have an idea of like, oh dude, that guy's done this and played with these people. So you were talking about some of the live gigs and then transitioning to sessions, and you're a very humble guy and you're probably not comfortable bragging too much. So I just want to read off a list of some of the people that Justin Ostrander has played with or played on records for, and it's like probably
Craziness.
and well, it's probably like only like a fifth of what he's actually done, or probably less than that. But people whose names that you'd know. So Justin has recorded with Kenny Chesney, Cody Johnson, Luke Combs, David Lee Murphy, Luke Bryan, I think I've heard of him, Sam Hunt, Chris Jansen, Jimmy Allen, Toby Keith, Dustin Lynch, Matt Stell, Hardy, Ronnie Dunn, Hillsong United, a little curveball there,
Oh,
New Song,
there you go.
Mandisa, Josh Groban, Sarah McLaughlin, my wife would love that, Chase Bryant, that guy's an awesome guitar player himself, isn't he?
Yes.
I mean, that guy.
Yes.
That guy. I shouldn't have put you on the
Steve-
spot like
I
that.
know,
Oh,
Steve
yeah,
was this big.
yeah.
He plays Albert King style.
Cassie Ashton, and then Steven Tyler of Aerosmith, and
Yeah.
many.
You did that
many,
country
many
record with him.
more.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is the caliber of musician, and again, I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable. You two,
It's
especially
making me
you two.
feel very uncomfortable because I don't have a list like that.
No, but I mean, these are the caliber of guys that we're sitting in the room with. So I just want everybody to really understand that, like, this isn't just a bunch of random guys hanging out talking about guitar. Like, these are the guys who are in the trenches, especially like they are the working guys in Nashville who are making the records, who are actually like have the authority, I think, in some, at least in my opinion, have the authority to speak from. when
This
they're
is
talking
the
about
before and then the after. My story is come to Tootsie's, 9 o'clock. I played with Ricky Bobby. Chicken bake.
You ain't first, you're last.
Like if that movie's on, like you ain't watching it.
You ain't rubbing, you ain't racing.
I saw that
Yeah.
shit in the theater 4 times.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Derek commented on your R9. He said, I literally might need to sell a kidney to try to get that back from Sean at some point.
Oh.
Okay, so we've talked about Justin now, and
I like that conversation better. Let's stick with that one.
oh,
Nice hat.
Thank you,
We
sir.
look like brothers.
Oh, yeah.
Flat Bill Crew.
Flat Bill Crew. Where's yours?
Where's Guthrie Trap?
How does you're not going to believe this. I actually called him while I was rushing here because I was late. Because I'm an idiot. There's no excuse.
You were
It just-
trying to think of a good
No, there's just no reason. It really was. Is that I bought? This is no shit, and I was going to bring it, but I bought an Explorer today. And the reason why I bought it, the reason why you guys will appreciate this, I hit a chord and then I beat the shit out of it, and the guitar would not go out of tune, and I went. My credit card.
Yeah.
Stay in tune. You could put. I mean, it in the thirds and today I was like, all right, here to take my credit card. But I've never owned one. I was gonna bring that and I didn't. So it had to do with that. And then I was getting Boog sold 59,335. I was getting the nut worked on. And then I went to the chiropractor and I thought I was supposed to be here at 7:30. And then I got home and I was eating some bell peppers that were sauteed by my roommate. I put on this shirt, which I wore 10 days in a row once.
We got bell peppers in the shirt and the
Yeah. This shirt, actually, I wore this at NAMM. I brought this out of retirement. This was from pre-COVID 2020. Yes. I wore this at NAMM, and I was set up because at the time I was working for Digitech. And I wore this 10 days in a row. And I would post it on Instagram every day to see if anyone out there would notice that I've had the same shirt on.
I just thought it was your work uniform.
Work uniform. It was like my Bruno Mars shirt. So I have it on, and no one's saying
My
shit.
scrubs, man.
No one's saying
Yeah.
anything. No one says a word. I have this thing, and I'm even doing weird things where, like, I'm sleeping behind one of those pop-up cubicles at NAMM. Like, they got pictures of me, like, sleeping on the floor, all kinds of stuff, right? So NAMM ends, and I go to Venice Beach, and I like to hike a lot, and I'm hiking in this shirt, a pair of shorts, and I'm walking down, the sidewalk from the David Lee Roth video, California Girls, whatever. I'm good, and some guy in Venice Beach comes running by me, and he goes, "Hey Ford, you got to change that shirt." And I was like, "I can change my shirt now." So I haven't really worn it since then. So I wore this in your
Thank
honor
you.
of
Thank
the
you.
battle.
Yeah.
So it took 10 days for someone to.
10 days is what you get. It takes 10 days for a shirt to die.
So Ford,
Yes.
so we have kind of an interesting way that we've kind of determined that we have some common friends and stuff
Mhm.
because you're originally from Pittsburgh.
I am. Yes.
And how did a guy, a guitar player in Pittsburgh, end up here in Nashville doing what you're doing? Because you're playing with some pretty awesome artists on the road yourself.
Yeah.
You do sessions. I know you were downplaying that, but
I get a lot of work actually writing people's songs now, and it's weird. And the one thing is, I make more money doing it for people that aren't rock stars than are,
right.
because you get paid for the songs. Like, I'm not going to go into numbers they made it, but it's very lucrative. Whereas, like, I have to hope that a song actually lands with an artist, and there's people that just don't do that in other states. They don't know how to record the songs.
Yeah.
They know how to write them. And I think it's really like coming here and learning how to do that stuff, which I have from watching everybody. I mean, just, soaking it all in, and you learn how to structure a tune or how to record a guitar track the right way. And
Well, you're a guy that I mean, when I moved here and started making friends and connections and stuff, I mean, everybody knows you. Like, you are a social dude. You seem to like, because I used to go out and
drink a lot.
And that's how that happens.
No. I think it really is that I have an obnoxiously loud mouth, and it's just it never stops, and he knows that. I just been out. No, in all reality, I think it's that I moved here in 2006, and I think that.
Me too.
There you go. He was here, and there was when tumbleweeds were still blowing down Tuesday night on Broadway. There was nothing going on, but I think that was like the magical time where it was still quiet. You could be on the highway at 5 o'clock in front of Titan Stadium, and you could look out, and there'd only be 4 cars in front of you.
Yeah.
You know.
2006. Yeah.
But to answer your question,
you had come here just before that, right?
Hey,
just after 2006.
Look who stopped by to say hi.
It was the caregiver who got me on.
Jeff Pivar. I don't know if you
Jeff
say it.
Pivar,
he's the best.
I mean, man, Jeff.
Jeff
Thanks for
Pivar.
tuning
I met him at NAMM in this shirt.
He didn't tell you
Insane
to
guitar players. Yeah.
He's
You
so
know
badass,
him
man.
from was it the Crosby gig?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Through James Raymond. And,
Yeah. What was the band that he had? I mean, it was like he was in the
CPR.
CPR. Yeah. It was Crosby, Pivar, and James Raymond, right?
Yep.
He's
Jeff
such
is
a
beast.
Jeff,
Oh,
come over to
Nashville,
Home Studio.
hang out and tell some stories, man.
Tell us some stories.
man. He's such a sweet guy. Oh, you're such a sweet guy. That's what I mean to say. Like talking
He
like
is
your
a
dad or
sweetheart.
something. But no, I met you at NAMM, and you're just amazing, warm guy. And I think it's your wife, right? Yeah, and just nice people. You know, you so unassuming, no rock star BS.
I know, and that's
So
another guy.
just cool. You know what I mean?
We pull up his resume
Oh,
of
God.
people
His
that guy's
credits,
worked
yeah.
with.
Oh,
Jeez.
God.
Yeah.
Okay, so you moved here in 2006. So I mean, you had been working as I would assume as
Yeah,
a guitarist it was in Pittsburgh.
I started my first original band writing songs when I was 12, and we were called Valentine, which was my mother's maiden name. And I just always was. I mean, first day I got my guitar, which was this piece of shit global guitar, and it had an erector set for a whammy bar. It just, and I bought it at a garage sale in Plano, Texas, in 1981 or something like that. And I could just put it on, and I went, oh. I started playing Wild Thing, or you know what I mean. I started making my own little songs out of the same change, so I could like hear melody, and I just really got into songwriting, and that's really, I would say I'm more of a songwriter. Actually.
I was actually going to mention that because, like,
Then
a lot of us here are pretty like dyed-in-the-wool, purebred guitar
Mm-hmm.
players, but like you're a guy who I've seen.
Right.
You've made music videos, you write tunes, you sing well.
Mhm.
Like you. That's
I get carried away on that one.
What? No, you have a great
I
voice.
found out that if I go really low, I can sound better because that's a whole nother conversation. But my voice is a train wreck up in the middle area. If I just stay down in the Bowie area, I'm cool,
Jeff says he's thinking about moving to Nashville.
Oh, really?
Yeah, don't move here because
I got a room.
I was going to say he's going to take everybody's gigs.
Yeah, right. So doing that, but then I wanted to get my guitar chops, and then I realized, I'm not going to lie, like my father, we had records when I was little, and I had Wired from Jeff Beck. Yeah, I had that on vinyl, and then I had Are You Experienced? And then like Deep Purple, and then I had like weird ones, like I had the Brecker Brothers, the bebop jazz one with the motorcycle suits.
Is that the one
And
with
that
some
shit was-
funk on it?
Yeah.
That was kind of funky.
Yeah, and I was like all like blown away, and then I would like delve into listening to like all of a sudden like Bad Company, and that shit was scary sounding. I mean, I was like, man, and then the first Boston record. So the rock and roll was mixed with your classic blues British guy with American rock and roll, and then I would go to Texas and we'd be in the truck and we'd be listening to Merle Haggard. You know what I mean? So, but I really, I decided this year to stop bullshitting really what goes on in my head, because I think I used to bury the truth because I would be embarrassed that if people knew what I really felt like, what really was my soul, that maybe it wouldn't be cool,
right? And
that you would accept it. But like I was too lazy to learn Van Halen, but I listened to a lot of Van Halen. And you know what? I'm not really into two-hand tapping or anything like that. But when it comes down, the only thing I pay attention to him is when I listen to the guitar tone on Push Comes to Shove or I Love Again or any of the written solos that he did, you just go, all those other LA guys aren't even close.
Yeah.
He just had that caramely, clownish, fun, perfect, cool vibrato. And he sounded like he fell from the sky. He didn't even learn how to play guitar.
Yeah.
He was just born with it. Where all the others sounded like they had to learn. So it's like that. And I liked Hendrix and Jeff Beck and put that together. And I would never say that. So I'd say, oh, yeah, I listened to a lot of Merle Haggard.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
meanwhile, it's like, I don't know any of that. I mean, I can fake it and all that stuff. But I think right now, like, Pittsburgh is kind of cool because I think if you grow up here in Nashville, the pressure would be on you'd end up being a lot like other people that are around you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes. Well,
Whereas in
it is
Pittsburgh,
true.
you just
Be who you are.
be where the hell you want to be. You know what I mean? It's like,
And in Pittsburgh, because I know like Philadelphia has a distinct music scene, and I think a lot of us know a really great steel guitar player local named Travis Toy.
Mhm.
He's got an online,
Yeah.
lessons website or whatever you call it. But he was saying that there's actually like a really strong kind of Americana steel community out of Philadelphia.
yeah, right,
And
right.
there's kind of a thing happening there. Is that similar to what's going on in Pittsburgh,
Well,
or is it
I did
totally different?
when I turned 30. I thought, boy, my rock and roll days. I was playing a lot of blues. I grew up playing blues too, so I was in a blues band with a lady from Memphis. We played 7 days a week when I was like 16. And at times she called me the young Ford Thurston, and she doesn't. That's no longer there. The young part. So when I got to 30, I realized, oh man, because I could write rock songs and this and that. I thought, I'm gonna get into pop country because it started to really take off. You know all about that, and it's like I was like all of a sudden, I didn't even realize that they weren't wearing cowboy hats anymore. So I got a cowboy hat. I was behind the times in Pittsburgh, and got all that. But I was, because you're in Pittsburgh, you're like 5 years behind Nashville on that's already passed through Nashville. And there was one pedal steel player, and his name was Vince Kamut, and there was one pedal steel player. And I had to have that son of a bitch, right? So I went and got a job driving a truck just to pay this guy.
Awesome.
I would drive the truck just to pay him because he and everyone else worked for free. But he was like, he knew what he was, you know.
Mhm.
But he was a badass. But he got me on to like Bob Dylan and all that stuff. And we
yeah.
do cool like Dylan like covers like Country Fried. And
Oh wow.
I learned a lot of stuff on guitar that I know country just from playing with that steel player.
Yeah.
You know, and then it opened my eyes. And then, you know, from there it was like the fiddle players, they don't even exist there. But
No.
there's only one in Pittsburgh. They might have many in Philly, but there's only one in Pittsburgh. So
That's awesome.
Wow.
we move them to Pittsburgh.
Yeah. That's where we're going to start our career.
Everybody
Right,
went to
right.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's just interesting, like, you know, the circuitous paths we all take to kind of get where we end up, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, you missed the first part, but Justin was talking about his beginnings in Kansas, and you know,
That's where you're
Going
from.
to
You're from
school.
Kansas. It's awesome. I love
Yeah.
Kansas.
and at what age was that when you decided to make the jump to Nashville?
25.
Wow.
25. So I mean, it's
That's
not like
so smart.
you were 18 and just were like, boom, let's go.
Well, I had a band when I was 18, 19, early college. I had a funk band with like a 3-piece horn section and everything, and it was really fun. Well, we came to Nashville to book a couple gigs.
Right. Was it like
And-
Exit In or something?
Huh?
Like Exit In type places or something?
Oh, I wish.
Really?
Yeah. So
much lower.
At the exit across the street.
we had a guy in the band who
just went back.
Right.
Or just
Fine,
I'm
Kelly.
in Guthrie. I saw James Mitchell.
Jeff
Right, right.
Pivar, Stream Stop.
At the end.
That's the one that would fuck you all.
Yeah, yeah.
That's like Alan Holdsworth on a country guitar.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Too much beer being. There appears to be some technical difficulties. Too much beer being consumed behind the scenes. I think we're back though. It looks like we're back.
People
Uh-oh.
commenting that we're back.
Not
Yeah,
yet.
can we
I'm
get
waiting to
you're
see.
back?
Hey, we're back. All right, Robbie Timms confirms. Awesome.
Right.
What did you ask me?
What did I ask you? I asked. I asked at what age?
Oh yeah. So 25.
25.
But I'd had a band, and we actually came to Nashville one of the guys in the band, this was a Christian funk band. Okay.
Wow.
Christian funk.
What?
Yeah.
I've never even heard of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How is that
So it was all
possible?
like straight 16ths.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
No.
Dude, we did a lot of. Yeah. Yeah. So one of the guys in the band who booked the shows for us told people before we drove ourselves out to Nashville from Kansas, told them whatever the Lord's leading you to pay us, we'll be good with, you know.
Wow.
Solid business strategy.
And when we end up going out on the weekend, that there's this massive show at the football stadium, which I don't remember what it was called then, but it was like Jars of Clay. And,
Whoa.
Oh, it was your audience. All of your audience was there.
Yeah. DC Talk.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You know, all this stuff. And it was like, we're playing some tiny coffee shop for $52. I got an orange juice and they charged me for it. You know?
Wow.
And that, you know, very understandably made a lot of people really mad at each other on the way back to Kansas. Like we just spent $6,000. That's how much money we made. Negative $6,000. And so we were like, screw it.
I got a
we're
little
done.
Christian funk song going on right now in my head.
Band.
You
ended-
inspired me.
That's funny.
I just walked into. I got a little Christian funk song.
No, he
Yeah,
was in a Christian funk band.
You know, I
Oh, nice.
feel like
Yes.
if is Chris Justice watching, because I feel like Chris Justice was in a Christian funk band at one point too. You know.
I mean, my band. I
This
mean,
is a whole
Brooklyn.
new,
Brooklyn was kind of.
Those songs
Christian,
behind the
yeah.
times, man.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Christian funk.
It really makes sense if you think about it. If you have, it's gospel. Does it?
Oh, yeah.
That-
that obviously has already existed then, right?
That band was why I waited. I went
'Cause
back
you
to
were doing
like,
that.
I'm going to go to school and finish a degree.
Because you enjoyed the band.
Oh,
so
because
much.
because you had that.
The band
taste.
ended so badly
Yeah.
because
Oh.
of this
You're like,
trip.
I don't want to do that again.
Yeah, no. And I was thinking, I was like, if playing music does that to people's relationships, then
It's not for me.
yeah, I'll just keep it on the side, you know. And then it was kind of always in the back of my mind. And teaching math, I told like I said earlier, I told my then fiance, I have to try to actually play, you know. So 25, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
Well,
Crazy. He's a math teacher too.
I feel like we
Gosh, it's incredible.
put this thing out there as vintage guitar talk. So I think it's about time we get into maybe some vintage.
Oh,
guitar.
yes.
Oh, all right.
Let's
Number
do it.
one.
Let's get into number one, Ford.
Let's get him.
Take us through it.
Well, you know what? Honest to God, you're going to be a little upset, but I only brought two, but I brought one other one that's really cool.
No, that's great.
Okay.
We love it.
So let's.
Somebody in the comments wanted to know if that SG Gents. Is it Gent?
What?
Do you know that? DJENT?
What's
He's
that?
such a vintage guitar hound. He doesn't.
Man,
It's
my
silver.
favorite.
It gets silver, of course it gets.
My favorite meme of all time. This is okay. This is amazing. It's my hands look like this, and it's a guy genting on a 7-string Ibanez.
Yeah.
So her hands can look like this, and it says card declined.
I am so out of it. I had no idea what you were even talking about.
All right, Ford. What's the? But while we're getting plugged in, what's the one?
Steal that one.
So this guitar's got a cool story, and this is the one that I think I'm gonna not let get away. So,
How many times you say that?
well,
You've said that a few times.
a lot.
Yeah.
This is turning into a roast.
So this guitar, I had gotten a look how high this. I have a Berkeley bow tie.
What do they call it? The jazz cage?
You know, instead of bum you out like when you are playing with an artist and you have a big gig and you get out there, why is somebody's event because the strap is always spun. And then like the downbeat's gonna come, maybe you got a click going, and the guy's going, all right, song 1, 1, 2, and you're over there fixing. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what is that?
I know that well.
So this
That was a
guitar.
cool trick you just did. What was that?
So this is wild because he said the artist you played with, what's the real tall guy? Tequila makes her clothes fall off.
Toby Keith.
Joe Nichols.
Joe Nichols. His guitar player live was Rod Riley. Did you know Rod?
No,
He must have been before or after
that
you.
was before, I believe.
Okay, but Rod was a badass, and he left Nashville not long ago. But I used to watch him. You know what I mean? And that was one of his gaggles. Every ballad he would do. was like, or you gonna.
Yeah.
And every time I show somebody that, it appears on their record. Right?
Get ready for the Travis Stingley solo record, and it's just gonna be every track. It's gonna be like,
So, I
Just gonna capo it and do it in different keys.
it's not
12
yours
track for
anymore.
12 keys.
Oh, you did it in G. This is a flat.
The
So what year? What year is this?
this is a bona fide mid 1959 335 thoroughbred wrecking ball.
Bullshit! You bought that at Guitar Center. It's a reissue.
Wouldn't that suck? That would suck so bad.
Wow.
1959.
It's a 59 super
335.
clean.
Wow.
Yeah, the only change that I've done to it, and I have it, and it's so funny you say this because today, part of the reason why I was fucking late, excuse me,
It's okay.
was because this is a Faber. You ever these Faber bridges?
Oh, I know.
Where the
those
bolt
shit.
goes over the thing.
I
and-
use those. Yeah.
Right. Well, it also had the matching brand new tailpiece, and I opened the original case, and today I was down at Rumble Seat, and I'm going, why in the hell would somebody take the beautifully worn thing off there, you know?
Yeah.
So I put that on, and then I had the original ABR, and I thought I'll put that back on there. And then I even had a theory in my mind. This is going to sound better because it's supposed to rock, you know, and it's supposed to have its own like little,
Give.
it's supposed to have its own conversation, you know what I mean? And I put it on it, and because this had already been on, it sounded like complete dog shit. So I went back to Faber, and they are amazing. They're really
The
good.
Faber stuff's killer. Yeah.
Really, and it's stable, and the shit doesn't fall out; it never falls off when you change the strings.
I have mine on a 335.
Mhm.
I have not touched the neck
Right,
or the saddles in like 4 years.
right. There you go.
I'm not kidding.
Right, it just
And
keeps
it's
it
just
stable.
dead on. You
Right,
keep the strings new enough to where they're not like getting the little divots in the frets and the
Mhm.
intonation's going bad.
Yeah.
That's when strings go bad for me because I have insanely dry hands. But seriously,
Yeah.
it's been rock solid.
that's amazing. Yeah, that's. I think that I tried using one. I'm big into SGs right now, and like ones with the leers, like the one behind you. And I tried one of those on there, and when you do it, you do need. That's why they have those dome wheels on there.
Yep. It's
You-
got to rock.
It's got to rock because what happens if this stays in place, the string's just going to go, eek, and it's going to.
Yeah, you're gonna hook a coil.
You're gonna hook a coil and you're done, right? And that was part of my theory today. I've been hooking coils.
Yeah.
So I did that, and obviously it doesn't matter because now the guitar stays in tune again. Once that
So
went
these
back.
guys are talking about the wound.
Wow, yeah, the winds
Yeah,
and
on
the
the wound
strings.
strings. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if there's enough tension on the plain string, you'll
Yeah.
get it caught.
Yes,
Well,
absolutely.
Must be dog shit today.
Well, they're streaming like massive over there.
Are they streaming over? Oh, it's back. Here we go.
Hello.
We're back. We're back.
So Ford was talking about his reissue.
His R9.
His Memphis 335. Yeah, his Kalamazoo 335.
Chris Justice says $20 says Sean is drinking Kentucky bourbon ale.
Nobody takes that bet.
I mean, I play
There it is.
it basically
Chris.
so much I can't even tune a normal guitar anymore.
Sean owes you $20.
Because I
Even
tune
though-
the Bixby and I immediately do the bar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Playing a normal stop toe guitar is
Man,
almost
I was just
impossible.
thinking about that. I was just trying to play along with this young man.
Yeah.
And on this guitar, I'm so used to having a bar that I was like, wow, I'm like so out of luck right now.
You
It's
go
so
for it. You just
boring.
whiff
It's
a few
it's like,
times.
oh
Yeah.
no, now I actually
Well,
have
you-
to make
you-
everything happen over here. with
You
my
two are
own-
both like, I
I'm
think
really
of you
into
guys as like you're good
Yeah.
at it too.
Really into it. And
There's a
this
there's a
poor
method
guitar.
to it.
I almost was going to stick a vibrobait
Oh,
on here.
no.
I was
Yeah,
going
I
to ask
know.
you if you've ever done that.
It they sound like shit. The way, I don't know what it is. You put a vibrato on a guitar, it's probably a lot of placebo, but I just can't get down with it. You know what
I
mean?
think it absorbs a ton of energy
Yes.
that just dies
Like a
behind
shock.
the bridge.
Yes, I
Yeah.
agree.
And so everything's like weak and dead
hmm
in the part of the string that you don't
Oh,
want it to be.
absolutely, man. I should have brought my 60, the little beat up one, but I thought there's a better story with this one.
Tell us the story.
Okay.
Man.
So-
yeah.
This guitar, this guy had contacted me, and he was in Arkansas, and he said, "Meet me at this barbecue parking lot." So I go with a buddy of mine, Matt Mitchell, great guitar player, and we drive there, and we get there, and we're waiting there, and there's a bunch of like homeless people everywhere, and there's people just like sitting on like where you push your car up against the little cement things, and they're sitting there eating ribs and whatnot, and people are like looking at us because we look like we were picking drugs up because it's in we just two white dudes.
Were you wearing the shirt?
No.
Okay.
I was not.
Well then.
Not that I can remember, anyways.
Day 342.
So we
You do look a little bit like a Miami.
I'm going for more of that like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Yeah. So the guy shows up and he comes pulling in, and this did not help the matter at all. He pulls in an Escalade. So this Escalade comes ripping in. We're in this really poor area. I've got $29,000 cash, $100 bills.
It's really is Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Yes. Yeah. And he pulls in, and I'm like, whatever. And meanwhile, part of the deal was I was going to pull out this 64 red Clapton 335 I have and see if maybe I can do a little bit of a, bartering thing going on.
Deco Waves says parking lot deals. Beware of the white van. LOL.
Yeah. So
sounds like the Libyans and what is it? The
Yeah.
Libyans and
Back to the
Future.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was the best.
So, anyway,
Christopher
cool.
Lloyd, man. Eddie.
Remember Gigawatts?
Yeah.
Gigawatts, not
Yeah.
gigawatts.
No, Gigawatts.
I'm gonna get a computer and I'm gonna get a with like
How many
a lot
gigabytes
of
you gonna get it with?
Yeah.
Gigawatts.
Anyway, okay, back to the deal.
So
So
we're all ADD here.
the dude
Every
pulls
single
in,
one of us.
He pulls in the Escalade.
He pulls in the
What
Escalade.
are the rims like on the Escalade? Does he have
Standard.
rims?
If I remember, it was white too.
Standard. Oh,
Standard
okay.
Escalade. I mean,
That should tell you something.
any of them are tacky. I mean, any
I
Escalade.
mean, an Escalade, yeah.
Come on, you know what I mean? Come on.
It's 2020.
I don't even give a shit.
What year was this? 2020?
This would have been 2019.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm off 18. I know for sure it was 2018.
So pre-pandemic.
Summer to 2018. And
before he got his stimulus checks.
some of us got lucky with that, I guess. But so the guy comes and I pull out my guitar, and he doesn't want to do the deal. And I'm just gonna be honest. I thought, oh, this guy, I think he was going through some stuff. I don't want to say what it was, but I think something was going on. And it was kind of my mind. I'm thinking that's probably why he's selling this instrument. He needs money for whatever's going on in his life. Not me to judge. But at the same time, I'm like, well, check out this red 335 I have. Why don't you give me at the time too in 2018? I think at that time, let me go back in my figures, but I think it would have been like I'd probably wanted more like probably like 22,000 for that guitar. And he's like, no, man, I need the cash, right? So I had gone into the barbecue place because there's all these homeless people out there, and some of them it was like a zombie parking lot. It's like an apocalypse going on. You see, and I'm like, what is going on? So I go in and I buy tons of food, man, and I'm just feeding homeless people in the parking lot. I'm just trying to keep them occupied because
Doing the Lord's work.
I'm knowing I got to get out in this car, So
I'm trying to give you an out to seem altruistic. He's trying to buy time to count out cash.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
So
Anyway,
I'm just
okay.
about to get mobbed.
Okay.
If they're feeding, they can't attack me.
There you-
oh shit,
There's nothing to do with
It's like the scene out of The Walking Dead or
I'm
something.
crying over
Don't get me
here.
wrong, I love people, but I just didn't want to get mobbed. I got to
Yeah.
So
Oh God.
I get in the car. This guy's looking at me, and I pull out the money. I'm crying over here, and
Yeah.
I'm on his dashboard, his Escalade, and I'm counting out the piles of money. And I have it, and no shit, right then and there, the friggin' cops come ripping in, Whoop, right? And I'm like, oh my God. I mean, it doesn't matter if I
This
say I'm
doesn't
buying a
look good.
guitar. Where I am, when you have over $10,000, they're taking your money until they figure out what exactly is going on. You're not gonna be like if I show this to a cop,
Fear and
he's not-
Loathing in Las Vegas shirt. There's some powder around his nostrils.
right?
Barbecue
got some
sauce.
weird
He's got a
marks on his arm.
He's got some sort of reissue 335.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even
Right.
know what.
Pass it off
If you
for
tried telling you were getting $29,000 for this, they'd be like, "Yeah, okay.
Yeah, sure,
Get,
buddy.
get in the
Okay.
car. There isn't anything that costs that much money." So the guy, we do the deal, and I checked it all out, and he had told me, and for some reason I believed him. I believed he's like, dude, the magical PAF thing story that you hear about, how it's almost like there's a chorus pedal and the overtones and all that. I'm like, I've owned so many. I'm like, yeah, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So long story short, do the deal, get the guitar. We drive home. I get home to my house here in Nashville.
Well, real quick, let me just pause real quick, because not everybody might know about the magical PAF chorus tone thing.
Okay.
So,
It is a thing.
explain to people what you mean when you say that.
Okay. Well, for me, everyone talks about like they're thinking about like what they hear, but a lot of it is what we feel.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And what we feel in these fingers here. You know what I mean? The magnets. It could be an Alnico 2. It's going to be softer compression. The 5 is going to be harder. The 4 is going to be more neutral. The 3 is kind of like a corrupt, don't know what the fuck you are, but I'm going to mimic all of them at one time kind of thing.
Worst of all worlds.
Yeah. You know,
The El Camino with magnets.
you get that, but then what happens is you'll hit the note with your finger, and the note will actually, rather than compress and go in, the note will actually kind of like, I'll hit it, and it'll kind of, you know?
Bloom and then kind of suck back in.
Like it'll do this little thing. You just feel it. You feel it when it happens. It's almost like air under your fingers. You know, the notes just do a rise.
Love
you know, but I think a lot of that bloom thing too is a lot the way it feels. And then like the clarity of it, like the string separation.
We're talking about PAF.
Talk about PAF.
Vintage.
You could think that you're
kind
going
of
to
applied for humbuckers.
a really great PAF pickup when you have the right one and you play it. You'll know that you've been being bullshitted the whole time.
You don't call them PAFs? You guys don't call them
PAFs.
PAF pickups. But I mean, these things sell for crazy money just
PAFs
by
will
themselves, right?
This set, yeah, PAFs. These would be 10 grand out of this guitar.
Just to pick
This is
I'll give you 5.
5.
Yeah.
I'll give you 1 for 5. The next.
I'll tell you this, and not just as a little bit of a side story here. Who's texting? Nobody. That's my watch telling me to stand up.
You've been sedentary.
I've been sedentary for too long.
She's like, don't take
I always, not being a person who has been around a lot of like great vintage instruments, and I've played a few old guitars and stuff, but I worked in my previous career before I was with Reb. I worked for Sur Guitars,
right?
So I'm familiar with what really great guitars
Sure.
feel and play like, and what quality is. I always had this thing in my mind that the whole Holy Grail 59 Les Paul 58 whatever, like, and the old PAF thing, all the hype around that was overblown, and I'm not saying that it's not, but I always thought it was very much more about really reduced supply and a lot of demand, and like the vintage lore of it all. That my opinion on that changed when we went over to Bukovac's place and we played his 58,
right?
Because that guitar really did.
It's amazing.
It's I've never played another guitar like it.
There are a lot that aren't.
There are a lot that aren't.
There are a lot of dogs.
Exactly, and I'm not
playing guitars that were 58s where I was like, this is
Yeah,
awful.
is something wrong with me?
Yeah.
Some of them are,
Why don't I like it?
but
some of them are awful.
But the good ones are so good,
Right.
that it makes you kind of understand a little bit like the hype and all the craziness that's behind that market, because you go, oh, okay, if you've actually had that experience, you played a guitar like that, and you haven't been able to ever replicate that thing, because that guitar was like the way it resonated, the way it sustained, the playability. I mean, everything, even acoustically, it was like,
Oh yeah,
it was game changing.
Well, I think what Ford was talking about is how it feels is hard to articulate. It's you have
that's
to
the big.
sit
That's the
and try
conversation
one.
with digital amps too. I just said it today to somebody. They're like, "Oh, but what?" I go, to me. Well, actually, in my mind's eye, I can see that there's no left right on a Kemper sound. There's no shoulder to it. It's just a flat image in my mind, and it feels like Brillo pad. It doesn't have the thing, and that affects the way I play guitar.
Yeah, and it sounds fine. That's the thing. It's like I was just talking to a guy today about like fractals. Like I had to use fractals on the last gig I was on, and I could get good sounds,
Right.
but it felt awful.
Oh yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like it's not just about the sound. It's about how you feel, how because we're human beings. We
Yeah.
want to express.
Right.
I have a
And-
question
and
for you
that's-
guys.
That's the tough part.
When-
You know?
Talking about that, because this
Somehow
this is a
we
conversation.
got the negative on a positive. We went BAF to Denver.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and we're coming back to this,
Let's
but
circle back
this
around
is just
to
another
past blue ribbon.
Yeah.
PAF's blue ribbon.
Doesn't that sound like a special kind of punishment? Like, here's a guitar, here's an original, amazing 335 with PAFs. You have to play it through a camper.
Well, here's a question, because none of us, I would assume, love in ears, right? Does anybody love
I was looking for the
playing?
chord. I couldn't remember.
I love it. It's like my show.
Yeah.
Does anybody love the tone that they get from their guitar through in-ear monitors?
No.
Because I've always struggled with it.
Well, here, okay.
Ooh.
How about you?
When I was on the road, I had like the top of the line in ears. I had the JH16s. There's like 8 drivers on
Oh,
each
man,
side,
yeah.
Nice,
Yeah.
yeah.
and it's still
You have an
just-
audio store in your earphones.
Right, yeah. It was still just weird.
Mhm.
And so we set up a room mic for my amps.
Yeah, right.
We put a microphone about 10 feet back, kind of at, if I was standing in front of it, not quite at where my ears are, but maybe 3.5 feet.
Where your nipples are.
Yeah. That's where I hear the best. It's right out here. And that helped a lot. You hear the room.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, guitar players are used to hearing an amp blowing past their legs and
Yes.
how it feels in the room. And
Yeah.
there's a lot lopped off,
Right.
on the top end.
That's what I kind of what I was getting at. It's like,
Oh,
because we all struggle, a lot of us struggle with the modeler thing, but I wonder, like, is it just the modeler thing, or is it because the modeler is taking this small snapshot of the sound, similar to like what you hear in your ears when you all you're hearing is the 57 on a spot on the cone of your mic? You know what I mean?
yeah. See, that's a tough one, because you're dealing with two different things. So basically, if you put a Princeton amp in underneath this desk, put up an iPhone where the computer is, and then play, it's going to sound fine. Take that iPhone, put it right in front of that Princeton amp,
Crunchy.
it's going to sound awful. Now, same thing, human beings, we're used to, guitar players, we're used to standing above our amps and playing. It sounds beautiful because we're off axis. Sit crisscross applesauce in front of that amp with the same exact tone stack, and you're going to be miserable.
Right.
That is what in-ears are.
Right.
Now, with in-ears, at the end of the day, for me, I was really lucky because I had an insanely good
Engineer.
engineer.
Yeah.
Cam Beachley, best of the best.
So know how to
could go
EQ and use compression and all that stuff.
Well, he didn't do any of that. The thing that I would go to with him is like, hey, I need to recreate that. So work out front, but what I need to hear, to me, without affecting the artist, is off axis what I would hear
Right.
if I was just sitting above that sound.
Was that in
which is
panning?
what we do. No, what he ended up doing was early on, when I was using Royer and 57 combo, he would actually bring in audience mics, but then he would pick one particular mic, and it was hotter to me than the artist, and hotter to anybody, or less hot to anybody but me, and that would give me the off-axis sound as if I had an ear out. So
Right.
it was brilliant. And then with when we had to do the fractal thing, I had a little bit more control, but I also had to be cognitive of the fact if I was making it sound great in my ears, it was not going to translate out front.
Right.
That's
So
exactly what I was going to ask. Is like,
that's
that
where,
sound doesn't work for recording on
that's
record. necessarily.
and that's where Cam
Well-
came back into play.
Oh,
Right.
or it doesn't always work.
It doesn't always work. Yeah. So, this is a bit convoluted because I'm talking about all those tones everybody's heard on records that they loved.
Mhm.
They think that's the sound in the room standing above the Marshall stack or the Marshall half stack. No, it isn't. The sound you heard is that condenser mic, whatever mic it was, through that console with whatever that engineer used to mix it, with whatever that engineer used to bring room in to create that sound that you heard. But if you were to just sit in front of Eddie's cabinet, if you were to just sit in front of my Eric Clapton's cabinet, Jimmy's cabinet, Stevie's cabinet, your teeth would crack.
Oh yeah.
They'd be broke.
Oh yeah.
So that's the thing. It's you know, and then when you get into modeling, the modeling thing is crazy because it boils down to feel. Like
Yeah.
I could get the fractals to sound great.
Right.
I really could. But the feel was a booger.
Oh yeah.
I had to just adapt and play through it. That's what I did. And this is not a fractals are not great, Kempers are not great thing. It's just that's the reality of a cat that grew up playing through
Yeah.
tube and valve amplifiers. It's like, yeah, that's
I think when the downbeat happens on your show, though, I find that like we critique and pick apart. We make our decisions to sell guitars and sell amplifiers while we're at home. Okay, but when we're on stage, I could be plugged into a quilter and get my tone. But once I'm into the show, I'm adjusting with my hands to make it just sound. And then you hear a tape back and you're like, well, it sounds just like me. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
I may or may
Fight or
not
flight.
have been as happy as I could have been.
Right, but you made it happen.
That's the
We
thing,
made it
because
work.
even as like Justin and I were kind of jamming at the top, the two of us were, you know, it's like not like we can get back there and like tweak amps.
Right.
So the two of us were tweaking tones and volumes.
Oh yeah.
And just finding what would work, and you make that work. But at the end of the day, it's like I would love to just not be distracted at all by it.
Right. I want a 57 Tweed Deluxe and a 64 Princeton spread apart about 3 to 4 feet.
Mhm.
Mono, delay, reverb, and everything else can go to hell.
Yeah,
It's
but
like
you don't want to sit right in front of that damn thing.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
You
I'm
wanna
up
be-
here. Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's the
You
thing.
know what? For in-ears, because I'm dealing with that right now, that whole hard and crunchy thing, and I'm on an ISO cap.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm on a.
Is that with who are you playing with right now?
I'm
Randy?
no, I'm out of Randy. I'm not going to go into that.
Okay,
but
Don't go
so
there.
the you know, for the first time too, I'm in a really high wattage speaker. I started using Evie, the 12L.
Yeah,
Just
straight up 12L.
Yeah,
Amazing.
I've got one of those. Yeah.
amazing.
Well, they're vanilla, right? Like what goes in comes out.
Oh, I find it's got cool mid range.
Mhm.
But you know, I think our ears get used to like my favorite speaker to always be like, you know, I'll go gold. I love that compression of it. It's really buttery and cool. You know, it feels good. But that I'm using a twin reverb with mismatched ohmage, 4-ohm amp
Mhm.
running on one single
8-ohm.
8-ohm amp, and an ISO box made by Mojo,
Yeah,
and then I'm running that twin on 7.
yeah. Okay.
And my master volume is, you know, I hate pegging guitars. I think they sound like shit when you put them on 10. I like them right in the middle, and you know, they feel better, you know.
A little bit of top end rolls off.
Yes, all that, right. But actually, I talked with Dean from Warehouse Speakers, and he's making me a 4-ohm. I did not know that they supply all the parts for Evie for their 12Ls now.
Yikes.
He's like, I have the
So
coil for a
he's-
4-ohm
He's actually making a
because the
That's
amplifier's
cool.
not working.
They make great
4-ohm
speakers.
single.
4-ohm single, and then that speaker can take an ass whooping.
Yeah.
You could stack drives on it, no cone cry
Yeah.
on 7, and it doesn't
Yikes.
cry.
Yeah.
It doesn't cry on.
Yeah,
Think about
with
that.
a twin on 7. Yeah,
That's insane.
it is. It's incredible.
But so in my ear, total hell, right? Just,
Yeah.
and I'm using two 609s microphone Sennheisers. I don't know why I should be using a 57 too, because it's kind of a darker mic, but 2 of them, and left and right, and I have them pan here. And then I was messing around with the monitor engineer. I'm like, hey, give me like an insane amount of reverb. just pile it on, man. Just you know, give me as much. I want to sound like
I want to have fallen in a cave.
I'm standing in the center of an arena looking back at the stage and in the afternoon when nobody's in the room. And that's how we set it up. Well, that fixes your problem right there. And it makes me sound a little less white. It puts me behind the beat a little bit. Makes me pocket a little better.
But you know, when you think about, you know, what you're talking about is air though, because
Mhm.
that's the problem is it's the same thing. Sitting right in front of your amp a foot away is misery.
Yes.
The air and the feel is way different when you just stand up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's what you just did.
Right.
Is you created distance between you and the source.
Right.
Mhm.
And yeah, it just
That really did
it's a
do
thing,
that.
man.
Well,
Yeah.
so the last weekend I played, I ran a This is crazy. But the twin on the 609, and then I disconnected the speaker on HD Quilter.
Okay.
So I'm running the Quilter on one side and that. And when you mix that and the twin together, so it's kind of like modeling, except that's Class D modeling kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You put them together, and all of a sudden you're like, well, this kind of works. Like
Yeah.
big time works.
Yeah. Kind of filling in the holes. Of the
Oh,
other
it's
thing.
like, yeah, you have this complete signal that has no in its path. It just, this is, you know what I mean? Everything. And then you have the slop. And now that's what it is.
Well, yeah, because it's so trippy. Like when I started with Carrie,
Mhm.
my main amp was my divided by 13,
Mhm.
and we were running at the time through Palmer's. That was it.
Right.
We ran a THD. into
Those
a Palmer,
ear,
and I was in ears, but the Palmer was the direct box at the time.
was that emulation?
No,
old school speaker?
it was old school. Yeah, I mean it was
Like
but it wasn't.
using Kettner kind of.
Exactly.
Red
Yeah,
box.
yeah,
Red
yeah.
box, yes.
And,
Wow.
Like
but,
that. But before that.
and that
Hey,
was yeah, that was misery. But one thing that I did realize, as you know, I was able to actually do a Royer 57 was I still employed the Palmer for the low end.
Right. Right.
So what I was doing is I was having my
Fixing
monitor
shit
guy.
with that box.
Yeah, I was having my monitor guy actually
Wow.
just send me shelved low end
Mhm.
from the Palmer because it was faster,
Mhm.
and then everything else was mic and 57. That was crazy.
Right.
Well,
Like,
now you're
that
thinking like a
was-
studio guy.
Yeah, I mean
Okay.
those days were crazy.
So I spent all day playing a 64 Bassman through a matchless cab, 157
Today, right?
today.
Yeah.
Yeah. An SM57 on the grill of a Heritage Greenback.
Mhm.
That's all I heard all day.
Yeah.
Was, and it's different, you know. Like I'm not on in-ears. There's something about in-ears that, to me, makes guitars sound not great. It
Oh,
accentuates
yeah,
all
yeah.
the hardness, even in the mid range.
So,
it doesn't
so
even have
you
to be
were
bright.
you were on
It even
cans?
turns
Oh,
up
I
the suck in
use-
our playing.
Yeah.
It turns up the stuff. Yeah.
God.
I use the they're called GK Ultraphones.
Mhm.
So there's a guy that cuts open those Peltor safety earmuffs for like going to the shooting range or
Right.
operating a jackhammer or something, and he sticks like mid-level Sony drivers in them and glues them back up. I can sit like with the ride cymbal right here in a small tracking room
Whoa.
and not have to change my mix when the drummer's not playing and I'm stacking apart.
Wow.
Yeah.
But with those cans, they're a little low mid heavy. They got a low mid bump to them. Man, like the mic right on the grill, like hearing everything and being totally naked, like that's my comfort zone now.
Mm.
It's different than when I was on the road and I wanted to hear how the room responded that I was playing in to my amp or how it added to what I was
Yeah.
doing.
But even then, therein lies the difference between an in-ear mold and just that amount of air. And those cans are killer.
And the
It was
size
actually
of the
Dave
drivers.
Cleveland
Are
that
those
big
things like
drivers.
custom made, or are they selling those like?
Well, that's
It was like 225.
Wow.
I hear that a lot about
GK
the
hyphen
Oh my good pair of those.
audio.com.
That's
GK
cool
audio.
as hell, man.
Yeah.
I hear that a lot about the inner thing because it has something to do with the balanced armature technology versus a voice coil.
Mm.
It's different and the way it reproduces and where the crossovers are.
There's just a lot of
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
Gackiness.
that's exactly it.
What you
Yeah.
drives you nuts.
you don't
Makes
have
not
real
want to play
drivers.
one.
There are those little transducers
Yep.
or whatever, whatever you were
Balanced
saying.
arm.
Whatever
Yeah.
they are. Yeah.
But man, it was a
Oh,
57 straight into an API, close mic'd.
And
I'm playing-
APIs are not forgiving to a 57
Yeah.
straight in, man. That's the real deal.
I know. Yeah, but it was great.
You dug it? Yeah.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
Okay, here's what I say we do because
I had a
we're
great engineer today. Cam.
D- Don't spend $1,200 on a very expensive pair of in-ears. Just get the K10s from KS Audio, whatever they're called, and they're just as fine.
Dude, I've done some in-town gigs. I did a thing
For
very
$70.
rarely.
Yeah, $70, yeah.
I worked for Big Machine Records. We did an iHeart Radio event where we played 2 or 3 songs for like 8 different artists, like Lady Antebellum, Connor Smith.
House band.
Yeah, we were a house band, and we were supposed to be on in-ears. And I was like, I ain't doing it. So I
Right.
had my giant
Nice
shooting
man.
range
Hell
muffs
yeah,
and the
you did.
coily cord, and I was like, come on, bring it. Yeah, and it was great.
Genius.
It's awesome, man.
Yeah, I thought about
Wear
doing
them
that.
live.
Cans
Paul,
would
it's
sound
good enough
better.
for Paul Stanley, right?
Cans
There
are
you
way
go.
Cans
better.
in your hand.
let's hear this thing. Let's
Little
maybe
sweats.
we can get
So-
a little
Well,
tone or
let's hear
something.
that, and then we need to get the SG out.
I gotta finish the story on this.
Yes, we need to finish the story. We need to hear it.
So
Did you get arrested?
no. So
That's right. The cops come rolling in.
we get away with the
Pick up where we left
We
off.
get away with the guitar. I get home, plug it in. I'm like, oh my god, they do sound incredible. And then the next day, I got a phone call from a guy in Salt Lake City who had another 60 or 59 335, and he only wanted like a small amount of money for it. But I didn't have the money. I was tapped out.
Yeah.
So I called our buddy Uncle Larry from Bugavec.
Yep. Old Uncle Larry.
And I called him and I asked him, this is bizarre, but I asked him for a loan. And he was like, okay, man. Hey, yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
He's like, I'll leave the money, man, in my Mercedes soccer van. So he leaves the dough in there and he says, leave that guitar you got yesterday in my truck as collateral. So I do, and then I'm on my way to go. I like to hike a lot, so I'm out at Edward Percy Warner, wherever that is. I'm out there hiking, and I'm in the middle of my 5-mile hike, and I left my phone in my car, and I realized he's gonna get that guitar and he's gonna plug it in at his session. He was in the D room over at Blackbird.
And you're never going to see it.
I'm never gonna see the guitar again. And I get back, and I just knew it. I got back, and the message was, "You ain't never gonna see this guitar again."
This guitar.
This guitar, right? So. And I got a banging deal on it too. I mean, I did really good on this guitar. So, in doing the right thing, for my trip to Arkansas, I gave it to him like a couple grand. I mean, wow, paying it forward, man. It's just like, I'm not saying he's like not the kind of guy that you'd like fuck with because he's Tom Bugavec in Nashville. He's just a good dude, you know what I mean? And he deserves all the guitars that he's going to sell again, anyways. But
Launch.
So he had the guitar, and then he called me, and he had the guitar for about, I don't know, it was like 2 1/2, 2 years, something like that. And he wanted to sell it, and I showed up at a studio he was at with the money that I paid him, but then he made $2 grand on top of it. So he kept paying it forward.
Oh, wow.
So
Nice.
then I showed up with a big old plastic Kroger bag full of hundreds, and I got
When was this? Did you get this?
I got this. Oh, when did I get it? 2018.
And then you sold it and got it back.
Yes. And
When did you get it back?
He used it. I got this guitar back only less than a year ago.
He had a 58
Yes, he
that
did.
was
Bound too.
super clean.
He had
right?
2 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he had one that was fixed too on the headstock.
He brought one across. We were working in different
Yeah.
rooms at Sound Emporium a few years ago. I was thinking that it might have been this guitar, but I think it was a 58
Right.
that looked like a reissue, down to the sticker
Oh,
inside
yeah,
the
like
Apple.
crazy.
It was just cherry.
Insane.
Yeah. Great. I mean, great era.
He sold those 58s because of this guitar.
Really?
Yeah, he was like, I don't need those anymore. But
Last I talked to him, he didn't have a 330.
no. And when he gave back, he's like, I just can't. I guess having kids or just wherever your headspace is at any given time while we make decisions. In his mind, he was like, I don't need to do that right now. But I'm certainly glad he did because I do love the guitar, even though I do wish that this guitar had a Bigsby because it truly is my musical crutch. It's almost like it's like my voice, you know what I mean? Like I do it and not even that, just the fact of just hitting a chord and not having that to swagger with it is bizarre to me. You know what I mean? Like
Now you got to use the neck.
Well,
Yeah.
and it forces you to.
right.
It's like you have to shake it.
Right. This is really right. That guitar was Devin Allman's.
Oh, okay. What's this? Oh, yeah. This thing is killer. By the way.
That was made for him, and that for
There's
Gibson.
so much water coming off this one.
And then and I have a bunch of real 63s and 64 SGs.
Uh-huh.
I'm not even using them because that guitar is so cool.
And what's this color?
Heather Polly.
Oh, okay.
That's just a great
It almost
guitar.
looks like a
It looks
champagne.
Champagne.
Insane.
It was,
With this lighting, it's hard to
This
tell.
one's got like the bigger.
doesn't it feel amazing? The guitar with 2 players. Tom's is gonna want that one, and it stays in tune crazy. Dude,
Yeah.
I was like, that worked. I was like, I'll take it.
Yeah. Oh no, it does stay in tune.
Oh,
No, it stays in tune.
I take that.
He gets up to go to the bathroom. Make sure that guitar is still in.
That guitar's.
He's gonna walk in the door with it.
Wow.
I think that's probably one of my gifts in life is just going around and having the time in life to go around and just analyze and find instruments that stay in tune. That's like it's the most important thing to me. But it's got to have a good tone, obviously. But
Sure.
I think that when you hear a guitar that sounds as good as that one does, it's going to stay in tune. You know?
Yeah.
What's the model?
Because the neck is like chunky.
I said 64. Was it?
Oh, the new
That was a Murphy deal. Yeah.
Murphy Lab.
Beginning of it. It's not a tune.
No, you're not. Those pickups sound cool.
Can I hit that tuner for you people out there in the
You
world?
want this one?
Oh, you got
Oh,
one?
yeah. Are you good with the headset?
You get fired though when you're on the gig with this.
That's well.
They don't want that.
Guys in Ohio have
No,
those.
that's my favorite. I think it was Derek Wells. That I
It's
heard.
the only one that works well.
Derek Wells is the one guy, and I'm sure this has been said before, but his whole thing was like, if you're breathing, tune.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
It's my favorite. Like,
It's probably the thing I talk about on my channel more than
yeah, if you're
anything else.
if you're breathing, yeah, because for me, between takes, even if I'm just working on my own, I'll do the solo, and while I'm listening back to see if I like it,
Yeah.
I'm tuning.
So many people, so many guitar players think of it as a drag. Like, I don't want to do it. It's not that far out.
Oh no,
It's like,
always
bro,
tune.
Yeah, you have
Always tune.
I was figuring. I think I tune 10 to 12 times per song while I'm playing live.
Oh, yeah.
I'm tuning in every
to. Yeah, every hole you
every
have.
hole possible, and I create more. I'm just
Yeah.
I'm tweaking, man, and then with like Bigsby and stuff, it's like most of the time I'm not touching that shit.
Yeah.
Most of the time it's just little tug. Get little tug back in. You know what I mean? It's like people are like, what? 4 arm strings.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're
There's other ways to tune.
getting it
Well,
on.
and that's the
Push
thing,
behind
don't,
here.
Don't ever tune down. Stretch down.
Oh yeah,
And if you can't get there, then
I'm
yeah,
tuning up.
always stretch down.
Tuning up with a
tune
bounce.
Up.
Up, 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 bounce,
Yep.
bounce, 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 tune,
Kids.
bounce.
That's a big one.
Yeah, embrace it because it has to be an obsession,
Yeah.
especially if you want to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, if you're sitting at home by yourself and just playing for your own enjoyment, great. But everyone's like, what's the one pedal you have to have on your board? A tuner! And I'm not trying to be a jackass. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
That's the one. There is no.
Cheers.
All right, shout out. What's your tuner of choice?
I use the turbo tuners.
Love it.
You
Throw
can
us on.
play, ba-da-da-da-da-da, and it'll track everything.
It will.
Really?
They're fast.
What's it called?
It's Sonic Research, Sonic
Oh no, I used it. What am I
Research.net.
talking about?
Yeah.
That's it. I just never did that.
What was that thing you just played?
What?
You were playing some changes though.
Check this out. This is gonna be his Christian funk song.
Christian funk song.
I got it. Check this out, right? So just give me like a tower power. Right. Ah.
He's got to get the right tool for
All right,
the
trivia. Who was the bass player of Tower Power?
Tower.
I'm dyslexic. It's not funny.
Put it in the comments. Who was the bass player? Don't anybody here say it because I know we don't
You
know.
win. Comes the chorus. Okay. TNT.
everything devolves into blues. You go long enough.
I have a question for the both of you.
We're all fired.
I have a question for the both. After that hot jam,
Yeah.
I
Naked-
attempted a
naked-
top slick and it was awful. I was like,
no, it was great.
No,
It was
That's
fun.
exactly what I thought.
There's a viewer, one of our most regular viewers named Naked HD XYZ wants to know: are you tired of being alone? We will help you. I don't think they're a bot at all.
am
Definitely.
I tired? Me personally.
Yeah, personally. Yeah. Are you? And they said it
Did he
4 times.
address Ford? Oh, he's addressing each
And
one of
there's a
us 4 times.
squirty and a there's some emojis.
Dude, what is up, baby?
I don't know. We got found by the bots.
Hey, listen now.
Okay, so the first person
This
to answer the
shirt is loaded with pheromones.
10 years of or 10 days of pheromones.
It's got namones.
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 Fair names.
I mean, I know that's a guitar.
Oh,
Rob-
get that shit going, man.
By the way, Robbie Timms wins. He says
Oh.
the bass player for Tower Power, Francis Rocco Prestia.
Oh, prove that you didn't look that up.
I don't know how
Nah.
to do that.
I wouldn't think.
I'm just Snopes
I
it.
wouldn't look it up, so.
Yeah, it's funny.
This guy says the sex bot is a Tower of Power fan. That's awesome.
Hey,
Okay, so
we
we're
need to do a shootout though, Jazzmaster with that and the real thing.
Okay.
Yep.
Go get it.
It's right there.
I'll get it. I'll get
Okay.
it. I'm the only one that does.
This guitar is
Okay, so
hey, tell me that is badass.
this is badass.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put that in my will for you.
Here.
Check this out.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
gonna,
It's-
Bare hands.
it's really good one. It just
All right, you can
feels
unplug that Ford.
for a new guitar. I mean,
You can take your Berkeley
So-
strap off.
yeah.
So here,
I'm gonna,
okay,
hit, the, I'm gonna hit the head real quick. I'll
here you
trade you that for that.
go.
He's going over here. Here.
This for this? Yeah, this for this, right?
Yeah, no problem. Why not? Everyone's giving. I'm very giving.
He's a very giving man.
Okay, and then this, when Ford gets back,
Where's
This
the
will be-
restroom?
It's
straight
straight through.
across the way, you'll see it.
Go through the other doors.
Before he gets back, he can duke it out with
Yeah.
Justin. That's a nice guitar. Uh-oh. That
got
don't
here?
seem right. That seems like a vintage issue right there.
Well, mine wins.
Man, forwarding is.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my jazz.
It should be good. Uh-oh. No. It's Jazzmaster. You showed up with the Jazzmaster.
You are the Jazzmaster.
Hey, man.
All right, so we're about to do a little
where's
bit of
my
a
headstock tuner?
headstock tuner.
Is it on there?
All right, so here we're about to do a little bit of a Jazzmaster off.
It was on the cheap
Jazz
guitar.
off.
A jazz off.
Oh no!
Be careful how you
man,
enunciate
sounds
that.
Don't be a bunch of jazz offs.
We're gonna do a jazz off. So we've got Justin. Tell us a little bit about what you got there.
That is a cool guitar.
Yeah, it's a-
So
That's a
I wanted
Danocaster,
to,
right?
Yeah.
I wanted to,
Dan Strain.
I wanted to go find an old
Man.
Jazzmaster, and I just bought a telly off of Dano,
Check this out.
or a single cut as he calls them.
Step.
And he was like, "Man, when you find one that you think you want to get, let me know. Let's go check it out. I'll tell you." He's like, I do those. That's my favorite platform. And
Jazzmaster.
Yeah, Jazzmasters are my favorite thing. I'll tell you if it's a great one or not right away. He said, I actually think that I build them really well.
Dan
You know?
builds a great
Yeah.
guitar.
And so
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like,
he's a
man, I'll
genius.
just have them build me one. And I asked him for Burgundy Mist Metallic with a gold guard.
Which is killing.
What? I'd seen a Burgundy Mist. What did I see? It's an actual Fender 60s color.
Burgundy Mist. Yeah.
I want to say I saw a Mustang or a Jaguar in that color, but I don't think it had a gold guard. I thought the gold from like an old school Jazzmaster would be cool with this color.
Oh, yeah.
So
That's killer.
That's just
There
a
it is,
killer.
yeah.
That is a
Dan
killer.
Strain. And then what's the deal with that one?
So this guitar came from a guy in Texas. I played a house party. He had it there. And
Of course you did.
yeah, it was weird. And he came to a show. I was playing with Bonnie Bishop in Fort Worth, Texas. And he came in and he was on sub break and he walked in with his case and he gave me this guitar.
What?
Yeah. Thanks, Gary. Yeah.
Is it because you were wearing that shirt?
No. But I'm really good friends with him now. Like, he's the greatest guy ever. But this guitar is so cool. I have the original bridges. I put the master system on here, which is so good.
Yeah.
mine had a mastery on it, but I changed it.
What do you got now?
This might freak everybody out.
That's a mastery bridge, though, isn't it?
It is a mastery bridge, but I have a descendant
Okay.
tailpiece. So it's a way to get better brake angle over your bridge without shimming the
Whoa.
neck and messing everything up.
More
I
break
didn't even know
angle.
that existed.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
recessed. Look at that.
So
Yeah.
Oh.
So
deeper
the
break angle.
the strings descend into the body,
Oh,
and it's got these machine slots.
that's genius.
It really is.
That's genius.
It really is. Like I don't know if you can hear it unplugged, but it just rings forever. It rings
That's-
like a Les Paul up here.
Oh, and usually it's more pingy, right?
It is, and
right.
it dies because you have so much
Yes.
energy
Yeah,
behind
yeah.
the saddles that you lose.
Wow.
I'm a huge fan.
So,
Yeah,
so
I'm
all
down
you
with
guys,
that.
break angle is the angle off.
Yeah.
Well, in this case, it's the angle from the bridge to the
Yes.
tailpiece or the bridge to the tremolo. If you can have a steeper angle and not have it cause an issue, it's going to sound better. That's what Justin is talking about.
Yep. You see bad neck angle pitch stuff like that on some 64 SGs. Like, it'll go to the leer and it'll just be straight across.
Yeah.
You know, you'll see it on 58 335s.
Oh yeah.
be a very straight line to the tailpiece. And it doesn't have any. When you don't have that pull, you lose sustain.
Yep. Oh yeah, break angles, everything. Because even on like Epiphones, I've seen guys actually get a Bigsby put on because it had a tailpiece, and they would put the Bigs on, have a steeper break angle, and never use the Bigs.
Right.
Because they wanted the tailpiece tonality, but they wanted a steeper break angle.
Right.
And it's a big deal. That's very cool.
That's unbelievable.
Okay, so what?
I didn't know that
they
they did. This is a 58, first year.
Okay, so 58, and then that's a Dan String
2019,
Danocaster, yeah.
2020.
Well, I think
Are those probably Lollers?
Peter Linder,
Okay.
which I'd never heard of before.
There's so many like.
how do we do a Tesla?
It's like you guys are playing through different rigs,
It's all right.
but you're both guitar players, so you're already.
What's that? Sounds really good. I think that feel wise, I like the smaller, thinner taper to the wider, which reminds me of almost an SG in like 64, where
Yeah.
it goes up. I don't see that on any other Fender guitars. Like it's skinnier or fatter. Usually Fenders are the same everywhere.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Doesn't change.
For me, it's coming to the realization that I'm holding a bazillion-dollar guitar like this, talking about
I just realized I was watching the stream out there, not my own stream. We can't hear each other talk if we're playing. So just be mindful of that while we're playing.
Okay.
The audio from our voices does not come through.
All right. So how do we do the whole jazz?
Let's do this. Let's play, and then we'll switch guitars.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's good.
and the presence. And the presence. And turn the depth way down. There you go.
That sounds good.
Channel 2.
going to be like the look of doom on either of our faces or joy.
Yeah.
I'm afraid.
BMO was asking, is he? I don't know who he's talking about, but I'm assuming it was Justin. Is he tuning between licks?
See?
Was he?
It's great. It sounds awesome.
It's
It
unbelievable.
feels great. Yeah.
This feels unbelievable. I mean, it's like that kind of money. You get a guitar like it's probably $4,500, something like that. It's like it's gonna hang all day. It's gonna hang all day long. And that's got that soft feel to it. I think I always wanted to stick one of these Telecaster. Stick that in a Telecaster.
Yeah, there's something that particular big wind
Yeah,
that it's still a single coil, but there's a tonality there that is killer.
it's a lower buzz,
Yeah.
but who cares?
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like it's like a P90, but it's still in a Fender. It doesn't quite overdrive the amp as hard. It doesn't
Right.
punch it as hard as a P90. I feel like I can tell this guitar's older. It's got a softer
Yeah, right. The
Think
magnets are probably just more
Yeah.
gauzed or degauzed, what do they call it? Like
Gauss.
Gauss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The German mathematician, Carl
There you-
Friedrich Gauss.
There you go.
See,
Badass.
two people.
It does have a soft kind of thing. I love that whole tapered thing on that. It's really hard anymore when guys that build guitars this great to be able to just say, "Oh, that's so much better." When it's like, I mean, I just went through that with like the fact that I have all 63 SGs and I'm playing that new one
Right.
because that guitar kicks ass.
That one sounds great. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, or that last ball of yours, you know,
That's a good one.
it's crazy.
They're just different.
Because this is like 2015, I
I could say that's 2015, something like
guess.
that.
15? Okay.
No, that's a 2014.
14?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, let's tell the story of this Les Paul real quick. I mean, we can close up the thoughts on the Jazzmasters, but we're probably getting near the end here, so probably tell the story of this guitar because I think it's an interesting story of like the circuitous path it's taken.
I got something I want you to check out as well.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
it's probably a guitar you've played, but
Oh, really?
I think it probably is.
Jeez, I'm trying to even dig it up in my mind as I've had so many guitars. I'm trying to, like, I feel very on the spot right now with this thing. It's like,
Because when I picked that thing up, it was yours, but before it was yours, it was Tyler's.
yes. Oh, well, actually,
Tyler.
Chiarelli.
yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
That's not true.
Okay.
No.
That's
It's so no.
okay.
What,
So that's
okay.
that's all I know.
all
is that-
coming
yeah.
clear to me now.
It's all coming
So what we
back,
have right here
it's
is
all
a
coming back.
That's the
highly-
session you want tomorrow.
It's a modified, highly modified R9.
highly
And we'll
modified
let Ford take it from there.
Gibson
Okay.
R9 Les Paul.
What I knew is that it was Tyler's before it was yours.
No.
No.
This guitar, I was on the road with Bonnie Bishop. She's a Texas artist. And we were playing in Austin. And I got this guitar in Austin.
Okay.
And then from there, I was like, you know,
Austin's a city in Texas.
yeah,
in case somebody
yeah,
didn't
Austin,
know.
Texas. I was kind of like, it had the whole thing that Gibson does, where it has like the overblown size of the 59 neck. I think that people talk about like that they want that big round back 59 feel, but I think that really the neck that everyone really knows in their mind is the classic 59 is more of a later 59, like more of like midsummer on 59, where it's like that comfortable played feel, not like that thing where you can't even thumb.
Like
Yeah.
a July
I have little
12th,
Trump
3
hands.
p.m. neck.
Yeah. Like a summer solstice.
Hell is that?
Oh, continue. We'll get to this. I
Oh,
do want you to
over
check
there,
it
son.
out.
What are you doing over there? So it's like, so it started off this guitar where I was just blowing through pickups like crazy. Like this guitar, I'm not even shitting you. This guitar has had 200 sets of pickups in it.
Oh wow.
Just over and over. I was like dead set because got it reshaped and everything like that, and got the top
and who did all that? That was Doug, right?
Doug at Rock Block Guitars at the time. At Rumble Seat.
And it was Rumble Seal.
Yeah, and I mean he did the whole thing, man. This thing sat out in his backyard for months to get
Okay.
the UV to get it to fade it a little bit.
So that's what he did.
Yeah, this thing
Okay.
sat outside and then he reshot it and then did all the aging himself.
So just for all the kids at home, he stripped the finish off of this guitar.
Yeah, right.
Did he redish it?
This was redished. Yes,
He recarved the
this right here
dish.
was redished. And the neck, the biggest thing ever was getting this neck, and you only get one shot, man. You know, you only get one shot. What are you going to do? Use wood putty and put it
You
back
can take
on?
it off. You can't put it back on.
No. So it's like, look. So he studied. Bonamassa had 2 59s at Rumble Seat,
Okay. So
and this
that's-
was just
okay,
going back and
that's where
forth.
I heard that.
So it was like perfect. It was like right against his guitars.
We've heard of him.
Yeah, and then had this 53 tailpiece, and that has a lot to do with the sound too, especially when you're running it over top of it. I mean, that cast aluminum right there, you can't even find that anymore. That sound or that material would
That
be
alloy,
different,
yeah.
But these pickups, I mean, I make my own pickups. I have the Bloombuckers, and for this guitar, they didn't work out. Fralins, I had bare knuckles, I had DiMarzio 36 anniversaries. I had two real sets of patent number PAFs.
Wow.
I had Sheptones. I had everything you could buy.
Sheptone does.
I had everything in
good
it.
stuff.
Holmes?
I had a set of Shaw, Tim Shaw PFs in here one time too,
Okay.
like from '82. I had every set, just like drawers of pickups.
The John Holmes. How much?
And then
Tom Holmes.
Tom Murphy gave me they're called the Long Schlong pickups, Long Schlong 5s.
You're kidding me.
Yeah.
The Ron
Seriously?
Jeremy.
These are the wrong Jeremy specials. So then Tom Murphy hooked me up with a set of pickups, and he gave me these, and these were a set of custom shop, custom buckers, but I think these were the Jimmy Page ones.
Okay.
Yeah, and put them in, and I was like, bingo. It was like, it sounds like a marriage, you know what I mean? And then we did the Stinger, because you got to have a Stinger. And
Yeah, because the Stinger was based on second models,
yes,
basically
right.
defects
right.
from the Gibson custom. Well, not custom. From
Like, what's the reason? to do
defects
a
from
Stinger?
Gibson.
Well,
were
either to fix a
considered-
brake or fix an arrow of some type,
Yeah.
or a bad piece of wood that has weird knots in it.
Yeah.
Any kind of something that doesn't look
And on
right.
this guitar, it's not necessarily for that reason. You just like the look of it.
Yeah, oh yeah, I mean, come
But
on.
yeah, but back in the
That's
day,
nostalgia.
If a Stinger basically meant it was a second. It was a factory
Sure.
second from the 50s. And to denote that, instead of writing factory second, they would do a Stinger on the headstock.
Right.
And now it's actually really, really cool, obviously.
I got RS pots in here, and these are actually more like 380s, 400s, not 500s.
So it's not a complete RS harness. Is it just the pots? Or
Yeah, I think it's just pots, and I
Okay.
put different ones in there. They're like different sounds, switched out multiples of that.
Okay.
This one in particular,
Okay.
and got that right. This is the newer plastic that Tom Murphy gave me as well with the rings,
Okay.
and then got the perfect frets. He did the frets too. These are more realistic to what a real old Les Paul would be. It wouldn't be like Custom Shop. Custom Shop has like really big jumbo ass frets. Yeah, that's like, it has more of a vintage feel,
Mhm.
and it's not ridiculously light or heavy. It's normal.
Medium.
Yeah,
Extra medium.
it's got a kind of top too that's not quite
Medium.
perfect. Like a real old burst would be like that. It'd just be like not book matched like
Yeah.
Paul Reed Smith. Just an all. I mean, this guitar, if this came out of the Custom Shop, this would be a $12,000 guitar
Oh yeah.
easily.
It'd be expensive.
It's a killer guitar. It sounds amazing.
I don't know what the hell I was thinking, but I have a historic makeovers now, and I found it in Cincinnati on Craigslist on my way to Pittsburgh, and I went to the guy's house, and it has 2 real unopened PAFs in it. Yeah, it's a really.
Whoa.
Still to this day though.
Okay, so how
It's not
did
as
this
good as this
guitar
guitar.
end up at guitareffectspells.com?
Okay,
That's
so-
where Eric-
So then, I guess Tyler had got it, and then
okay.
Tyler got it and put it there.
Okay, so it was Chiarelli's after you.
Yes.
Okay.
So I had it, then he had it, then he put it
Okay.
there, and then someone really smart came along and went, "That's really cool," and they got it.
That would be Derek, the
Yes.
co-owner of Rev.
There you go. And by the way, I really like the way that thing sounds. Stop.
Yeah, green channel.
You gotta get the cotton in the mouth. Yeah, they bit my rattlesnake in my face. So let's talk about your stuff. Can we do that?
Sure.
We haven't done it at all.
You know, your old buddy Sean Tubbs over here has a pedal he
Yeah.
put out a couple of months ago.
We've all been just circling it, like hawks circling it. Well, everyone's circling mine at my house.
Yeah, lurking.
That's what
Lurking
it
in
is.
the corners.
That thing, I run into backwards though. I mean, I just leave the boost on and then I run the other one as my boost.
Yeah, there's a lot of cats been doing that.
It's crazy.
Well, that's the whole thing. It's like that pedal is whatever you want it to
Right.
be, you know. Yeah, I'm glad you dig it. man.
Truly vocal. And I'll tell you what, more importantly, I love the fact of having so much flexibility in the low end because that's where all the problems are.
Oh, yeah.
All the problems.
Especially when you start
Any-
boosting into stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
The low end gets out of control.
Yeah. And if you take too much out though, then you lose the feeling.
Fundamentals. You lose the fundamentals.
Yeah. So you got to find that sweet spot, man. You know what I mean? It's like I want to be able to sweep it in 2 different ways. The toggle, and then I go, oh, that's too much from the toggle.
Yeah.
I can get back there. You
Yeah.
know.
The cool thing about it is that like the tilt EQ thing is a really musical way to approach things. 'Cause I remember I had back in the day I had this the Dr. Z Maserati,
Mhm. Oh yeah.
and it had a volume and it had a tone knob. It was brighter and thinner and
Oh, yeah.
darker and fatter.
Right.
And that's essentially what the tilt EQ. It works around a pivot point.
Mhm.
So anything under the pivot point gets cut, and anything
Sure.
over it gets boosted.
Right.
So it's just a really fast. I think that's the thing. Like with Sean, it's like it's all about workflow. It's all about like we've got a sound we got in mind. What's the fastest? I don't want to be turning 27 knobs.
Sure. Right.
I want to go this way to get what I want.
Right.
And,
Well,
and
it's about not changing the tone stack. I was just talking about another guitar player. Same thing. He's like a killer player. He's like, look, here's why I love this. I don't have to get up to fix anything.
Right.
I
Right.
don't have to change my tone
No.
stack. I'm in a flow. I've got the part. Something's not right sonically. I can just do this as opposed to put the guitar
Yeah.
down, get up, change something.
Right.
And that was a big part.
well,
of
and we were talking about that
all
with
of
Justin today. It's like you spent all day playing into a basement,
Yep.
into a particular cab with a particular mic on that cab. You're not going to get up and change that once you've settled on it. You're going to hit a pedal. You're going to change a guitar. You're going to do other things to alter your tone. but you're not necessarily going to get up and go, okay, guys, hey, let's reset
Hang
and
on
do
a second,
this
I'm gonna walk
other.
over my basement.
Yeah,
And
you don't wanna
completely
break
change the tone stack.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
That's
Well-
the thing I like about that amp is I've got several spots in the controls on the front of the amp where every single one of my guitars sounds great through it. It just sounds like that guitar.
Is this a black basement or blonde basement?
It's a tuxedo bass.
Oh, there you go, yeah.
Early 64.
There you go.
66B circuit.
That's the circ. That's the
That's a
basement.
good
That's the one. Yeah, for me,
Yeah.
you know.
And a story.
Yeah.
That's the hammer.
So it's every guitar sounds like
Sounds like a
itself.
matchless. It's like a Fender matchless. It's
Yeah.
got this whole like.
Yeah.
That's what I always thought of it. It's like Fender made their own matchless. It's like
it sounds exactly like what it is. Right after the tweed, right
Mhm.
before blackface.
right, thicker.
Sort of-
The higher notes are almost way thicker too.
Yeah, but it's still got a chime in the top end.
Mm-hmm. It's
So
wild.
it's fat. Yeah.
Oh man,
Love that.
could use that 4-ohm speaker that guy's making for me for that.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That amp would
Basement.
sound killer on a single
That's a
4-ohm.
booger on a basement. Yeah.
You do that a lot. You mismatch impedances for certain.
Yeah,
bands,
you can
right?
do it on purpose. Yeah, if you want it to feel less efficient,
Yeah.
run 4 into 8,
Right.
run 8 into 16.
Just never go the other way.
Just don't go the other way. It'll sound great for a second.
Yeah, and
Until
then
you
die a
play it.
Shove
miserable
the
death.
Colorado River down a straw for a minute, and then it's going to be problematic. But yeah,
Our math
efficiencies are
major.
great.
I was messing with the till again today, and the cool thing is, I don't know if you guys saw this, but somebody had a $200 Blues Deluxe on. You see that?
Mhm.
I bought that amp.
Did you
It's
buy
already
it?
fixed. The handle was in the back of the amp. It had 2 brand new tubes in it. Thank you, bro. So, and I took it out to Kevin Shaw.
Okay.
He did it in like 3 days, got it back, and I don't know what's up, man. But he did some mojo on that thing.
Yeah, it's happening.
It sounds amazing. You're like, it's this cheap ass amp with your pedal though. That's the thing right there. So today I was spending more time on the normal drive channel,
Mhm.
and I was pulling the gain back and just whacking the master volume,
Yeah.
hitting the front of the amp, and it's really you can get like you can make it. You can get it to like open up.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I was talking to even Tim Pierce about that. I was like, look, you can take the drive side of it, turn the gain down, crank the volume,
Stevie Ray Vaughan.
and then you've got a tone stack there, and then you can still add the
Yeah.
boost side to it. That's the whole point of that pedal is.
Oh man, I think we forget that like when you used the tube screamer back in the day, you know what you did? You turned the gain down, and you turned the level on
Yeah.
10.
Cranked it. Sure.
For some reason, it's like I don't know if it's
People
Nashville
forget.
or whatever. It's like well, you don't want to hit the front end of the amp that hard. It's like yeah, I
you
do.
do.
I want to make it fold.
Yeah.
I want to make it buckle
Yeah.
Yeah.
because it's not going to do that anyways. Because I'm never going to put the cat on the bag here anyways.
Right.
I want all my horses at the gate.
Yep.
You know. So that's
That's like I mean,
you know?
one of my favorite guitar players of all time, growing up just south of LA, and I know Sean as well. Michael Landau,
Oh,
Sure.
God.
studio guitar legend.
Freak.
Amazing. And
Yeah.
and we used to.
Alien.
That's cute.
Sean and I both used to go see him play at the Baked Potato, and it's this tiny little room. But the thing that you appreciate about a guy like that is that guy has lots of gain stages on his pedal board. He has typically
Oh
it's
yeah,
like
and he's
you-
got
you-
the Max
boot-
on and the
Voodoo one.
SD1
Got the
and
new one.
Yeah, he's got usually got the
SD9.
Roger Mayer Voodoo one,
SD9,
the
that's
Max
right,
on SD9. Those are staples, and then the third pedal will kind of change.
I had this is no shit. You can't make this up. And I can prove it. I have Landau's
You got
SD9.
receipts?
They came off of one of his boards
Nice.
this past week. And the reason why I sold it to Matt Mitchell is because your pedal sounded better. I did. I did.
Suck on that,
I
Mike
was,
Landau.
I was like, I don't need this. Even though that's a distortion pedal, I was like,
Just kidding.
yeah, but
Mike.
the way I play and what I do, this sounds better. You know what I mean? And
Wow.
it had
Amazing.
the modded Keeley on-off switch on top of the
Oh,
button.
that's right. The Keeley mod. Sure.
the dip switch. Yeah.
No, it had
The
a regular step
double
button.
pull, double throw.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
what I meant to say.
Wow.
But the thing, the point I was making
Sorry.
about it's good. The point I was making about Landau is that that's a guy who will set his rig up in such a way that his gain staging is structured very specifically, so that most of the time his volume is
Oh.
5 or 4.
Yeah,
or
That's where it
3.
sounds the best.
He's never messed around with his tone stack.
I mean-
he's rolling the volumes up and down and the tone up and down.
Very rarely does that
That
guy
is it.
go full out 10, 10, 10, 10 all across
Right.
the board.
But when he does, you know it.
Yeah, when he
His
does,
dynamic window is shot all the way. He
Yeah.
never lets it all the way out.
And if he does, you're like, oh God.
Yeah.
and not only that, I mean,
Huge.
he's controlling on two ends. He's got his gain stage on the input with his volume knob, but then he's also got the volume pedal post gain
Right.
Yeah.
going into his amp.
Right.
I mean, it's really an art to watch the guys work that. Scott Henderson's another guy that does
Oh,
that.
yeah,
Anderson
same deal.
Definitely does that.
That's
But
a
he
lot.
does it with a weird potentiometer that he has mounted on a pedal where he doesn't do this. He literally goes like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Like it's
I wonder-
literally like a pot he rolls up.
I wonder if
It's
he's
like that could be easier, dude. Volume pedal.
Yeah.
As far as
You're doing
he's
it wrong.
concerned, it is.
Yeah.
My favorite Scott Henderson quote of all time was somebody brought up Snarky Puppy, which we all love. Mark Lettieri is amazing. Which I was going to say, I heard
Man.
you ripping off some Mark Lettieri
Oh,
earlier.
yeah. I do it regularly.
He's
Love him.
incredible and a good friend.
and the nicest guy ever.
Yeah.
Sweetheart.
But
Yeah.
good old Scott Henderson, being a cranky jazz guy. The first time, this was years and years ago when Snarky Puppy was first coming on the scene. Somebody mentioned them.
I have a good
context.
Lettieri story whenever he gets.
Oh,
yeah, okay. Next. And Scott goes, "Oh yeah." I mean, you know Scott. He's very
Yeah.
outspoken.
Oh,
kind
big
of-
time.
vocal
And big.
cat.
Yeah, very, very like on 10 vocally. He goes, "Oh yeah, Snarky Puppy. Yeah, that's jazz for teenagers, isn't it?"
Oh,
And I was just thought that was the best because this is like the heaviest dude. Like
Yeah.
he's so deep, and that was like his.
we play B minor over F sharp.
Just for
I love it. And I'm sorry, Scott.
I can make it happen, man. You can make B minor work perfectly.
So what's the Lettieri story?
Oh, so I was in Dallas and I just called him and he's like, yeah, I'll come over and see you. I stayed at a hotel. I was working some job or whatever. And he came and I met him in the lobby and I'm really into hydration or dehydration.
Yep.
And I always carry my own water. So I had a 3-gallon BPA free jug of water. And I'm checking in at the thing, and Lettieri's standing how nice he is.
Yeah.
He's just so fucking nice, it's like crazy, right?
Great posture.
And he's standing there next to me, and I'm talking to him, and the jug was down there, and I'm getting my key card so we can go to the room and go play guitar, and I fucking kicked the jug, 3 gallons of water.
No.
BPA plastic shatters, for the record, very easily.
No.
And 3 gallons of water just went right through the fucking lobby of the hotel.
Man.
What did Lettieri do?
And got on the elevator and
He just walked away. I don't know this guy.
yeah, we went there. I was like, all right, show me every A chord you have.
Justin, what is this telly that you have?
Mhm.
It's a 55.
That's the real deal
just
right
a
there.
50, just an old 55.
Reissue.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was looking at it. I already knew, like immediately. I could tell as soon as I could tell. I'm like, that is not.
They're just so
That is no
loud.
custom shop.
So somebody refinned the body,
It looks amazing like that.
and but they took the care to remove the little piece of masking tape
Mm-hmm.
that the final inspection lady had signed,
Right.
and they put it back. So it's signed Gloria,
Oh, that's
February
the one. That's the one.
16th, 55.
No way.
Yeah,
Cool.
inside the
So
cavity.
where did you get that?
I bought it from Uncle Larry.
Oh,
I went over there to buy his old Starfire 3,
okay.
and then
How long
The
ago?
Guild? Yeah.
last year.
There you go.
Yeah. And he was launching this because he bought that Roadrunner telly. the one with the
I had
sticker
that.
on it. Yeah.
That's
Oh,
the
yeah.
thermometer
You had that
case.
at
Yeah.
Blackbird recently, didn't you?
yeah. Sorry, let's stick to this. We'll
So
get to that
anyway,
later.
this guitar just has the bridge pickup's just freaking gold.
and that's a great Veros fret job.
It is, absolutely.
I can tell. I know his work.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I look at
See
the
a
fret
mile
ends
away.
and I can see that shit from miles
Yeah,
away.
the way it's rounded, just perfect.
Bullets, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I still have yet to do it, but I was like, hey, Tom, who's the guy for
Greg
He was
Veros,
like-
man.
He was like,
Artist.
Hey, just have a great dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be
Go
okay
in,
with
just
not
have
having
great
your
dude.
guitar for
6 months.
Yeah.
6 months. It's worth it.
But this still has the original vintage wiring, which
There
I
you
think
go.
I want to change. It's been
Oh, so
refinned.
it's-
I don't need to be
so it's
precious.
pretty
about the
dark.
wiring.
So you mean the
dark.
wiring? You like the pickups?
I love the pickups.
Okay, but you don't like. You're talking about the pots then?
No, I'm just saying it's got the real dark.
Oh.
Dark,
Yeah,
dark
turn
now.
the-
Oh
Turn the
yeah,
sample on?
just lift the leg. Just lift the leg.
Yeah.
It's cool though. Make a record with that sound. not sound like that.
No, it's insane. Like it's. It just sounds really great.
That's so good.
Yeah, it's great.
That's a really
It's a great guitar. It's like
Holy
really
smokes.
inspiring. So and if I want to get a middle sound, I've got to like.
Yeah, right in the center of the
Just
right.
grab
the
it.
cot, the cot, yeah. Let's call it the cot tone. Yeah. Get it caught.
Yeah.
Wow.
Proper vibe.
Yeah.
See, man, it's good telly, man.
I know. It's like, what else do you need?
The right tone.
Did you change the guard, or was it white when you got it?
No, it was white. It's a 55, so it was original.
Yeah.
I think it was originally an antique white guard, and it's early enough that it's still flat pole.
Yeah.
Other
Do you
than that,
know how to tell if that's a real pickguard from back in that era?
You scrape off a little and you snort it.
Very close, actually. You scratch it with some Scotch Brite or something like that, and it'll smell like Vapo Rub.
Interesting. Okay. Get that eucalyptus kind of
It's
menthol.
a fact. You do a little scratch and sniff. Do it on the backside, though.
yeah.
Justin's like, yeah, I'm not going to do
The
that.
Do it on the other
First
side.
What are you talking about?
If your kids get a cold, just do that and
Slap it on there. Put it in their socks.
old 55.
That's a real great sound.
God. Wow.
Yeah.
That's that low mids in there. It's like, wow.
Good night from Nashville, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging with us. Man, 2.5 hours went like that.
Is that what that was?
It was 2.5.
Well, I wasn't here for 2.5 hours.
Well, for you, it was only 2 hours. Good night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
I was killing it.